Ready to tackle that building project? Start right. Start here at H&L Rapid True Value for building supplies. The time by H&L Rapid True Value is
Nationwide time, 5 o'clock.
From the Nationwide News Network, comprehensive, incisive, tough. This is Nationwide at 5.
Good afternoon, I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
In Nationwide News at this hour, MSMEs want the government to pressure the largest commercial banks into bringing interest rates down.
I think the onus is now on DOJ and the government to find ways of forcing the hands of the banks to pass through the reduction that the DOJ has already given.
St. James High School board chairman cites systemic lack of accountability on spending decisions as source of discord at the school.
The reason I believe that I am not liked is because I refuse to conform to the spending habits that exist at St. James High School.
Education Ministry says outstanding graduate allowances for teachers to be dispersed this Friday.
Indicom says illegal firearms were seized in 67% of the 155 police fatal shootings in 2023.
The man accused of murdering social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend had a long criminal history dating back to 2010.
In news from the rest of the world, TNT formally adopts the use of its updated coat of arms featuring the steel pan.
The UK sets out plans to increase defense spending to 2.5% of national income by 2027.
In headline sports, champions Jamaica go in search of second straight win in West Indies women's tournament in St. Kitts on Wednesday.
And later in our broadcast, in our cover story at 5:35, BOJ Governor Richard Biles says banks are treading carefully where interest rate reductions are concerned.
When rates were rising, we moved rates quite a few times up before the banks began to adjust their rate. So there's a lag period where the banks assess.
You'll hear more from the BOJ's quarterly media briefing.
In Public Opinion at 6:26, we ask, should the Education Minister be empowered to sack school principals? Give us your comments by logging on to our Facebook page, Nationwide News Network, and by tweeting us at Nationwide Radio and message us on WhatsApp at 876-285-5693. You can also leave your comments on Instagram at Nationwide90FM.
In the nation's business at 6:40, classes were cancelled today at St. James High by the PTA due to a dispute involving the chairman of the school board, the school principal, and the president of the PTA. What's the correct procedure to be followed in instances like this? President of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Linvern Wright, and President of the Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions, Courtney Winter, will join us.
From 7 to 8, it's Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. Tonight, we'll be looking at Beetroot Boost.
At 8, it's Prescription for Life with Dr. Andre McDonald.
And at 9, it's Affairs of the Heart with Rodney Campbell. Tonight's topic, emotional or physical cheating. Which is worse?
All these and more as we take you home on air on your mobile, Nationwide 90 FM, nationwideradiojm.com, and on the Nationwide app available on Google Play and the App Store. This Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday, February 25, 2025.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
If it's news, it's got to be Nationwide 90 FM.
Now the details. The Medium, Small and Micro Enterprises Alliance is calling on the government to pressure the nation's two largest commercial banks to bring interest rates down. In tandem with that, the alliance is rejecting the Bank of Jamaica Governor Richard Biles' words of caution to those advocating for strong action against financial institutions that refuse to lower lending rates. President Antoinette Hamilton says she has proof of the self-serving actions taken by banks, which demand a response from both the government and the BOJ. Siobhan Campbell tells us more.
The Bank of Jamaica has halted further reductions in interest rates as it tries to make sense of the fallout caused by the shifting policies of the new U.S. administration. While Ms. Hamilton has accepted that as the prudent stance, she argues that the BOJ should now strive to have financial institutions bring down their rates in the interest of customers.
I can understand why they have taken that position, although one may say that the American situation is quite a little different from us, but I could understand why they took that position, because it really doesn't make any sense to continue to reduce it and the banks are not asking it to. So I think the onus is now on BOJ and the government to find ways of forcing the hands of the banks to pass through the reduction that the BOJ has already given.
BOJ Governor Richard Biles has called for a more objective measure of how banks have managed interest rates. While he believes there is some room for relief for customers, he argues that the reluctance of financial institutions is not without merit. The governor also dismissed calls for him to take direct action to bring the rates down. But Ms. Hamilton says she has direct evidence of commercial banks taking advantage of the situation at the expense of customers.
The research shows that within the last time that the Bank of Jamaica increased the policy interest rate and the bank followed suit, it took them 6 months to do so. It has been over 6 months now since the policy interest rate has been reduced, and so I don't see how being unreasonable in expecting that the bank will take action now. And we also have evidence, because what happened is that they actually increased the interest rate on existing loans, and those letters would have come to borrowers' emails. We have evidence of that.
She also believes there is more the government can do beyond moral suasion, such as diversifying its accounts away from the nation's two main commercial banks.
And so if it is that these two major banks are holding a position that is not helping the economy, it's not helping businesses, why then should taxpayers have their money sitting in these two banks? I think that is something that needs to be discussed in terms of the government looking back at its investment policies, or the different government agencies say, okay, instead of putting 70% of your savings or collection from taxes or whatever source into BNS and NCE, spread it out so that these two banks don't continue to have this stronghold on the economy and on the businesses of this country.
Siobhan Campbell for Nationwide News.
A lack of accountability on how spending decisions are made could be at the root of the ongoing discord between the chairman of the board at St. James High School and the principal. Classes at the school were cancelled on Tuesday due to what the Parent Teachers Association described as ongoing grievances that require immediate attention. The PTA did not state what the grievances were, but our news center understands they concern the reappointment of Christopher McCurdy as chairman of the board. Speaking on Nationwide this morning on Tuesday, Mr. McCurdy said he believes the resistance is related to his approach in managing the school's finances.
The reason I believe that I am not liked is because I refuse to conform to the spending habits that exists at St. James High School, where as a chairman you rubber stamp whatever comes to you. I question every single penny that comes to me for signature. I question them, and I'm now holding on to almost $1 million in checks that I refuse to sign because there's no justification for these spending.
McCurdy and Principal Joseph Williams have been at loggerheads over the management of the institution for some time. Mr. McCurdy says there is a systemic lack of accountability at the school.
There are people right now, who work at the school as a teacher, who is contracted to the said school to do desk and chair repair. They're sending a bill for $600,000. When you ask them to quantify or to provide clarification on what they're asking to be paid for here, they cannot do so. And as such, I hold on to those checks. No, the regional office, who I have a little bit of issue with, and I don't want to even go down that road, because, their hands are also tied to some extent. But I would expect that even if your hands are tied, common decency should allow you to voice your opinion with authority that says, I do not support this or I do not support that.
Christopher McCurdy, chairman of the St. James High School Board. Amid the disruption on Tuesday, the Education Ministry dispatched a team to intervene in the impasse. But up to news time, there was no report on the outcome of the meeting.
Outstanding graduate allowances for teachers are to be disbursed by this Friday, February 28. This is according to a brief statement released by the Ministry of Education earlier on Tuesday. The ministry says it has escalated the non-payment of the allowance to Cabinet for resolution. In the meantime, however, it says it has been instructed to continue paying the allowances until further advised. On Monday, the Jamaica Teachers Association demanded the payment of the graduate allowance and retroactive mileage allowance dating back to April 2022. According to the JTA, the Education Ministry had agreed to pay the allowance effective April 1, 2024. The association said a dispute arose because the ministry arbitrarily decided it would no longer honor the agreement based on a new interpretation of the said agreement. In its statement on Tuesday, the ministry said it understands the importance of the allowances to affected teachers and expressed dedication to supporting the profession by ensuring educators receive their well-deserved benefits.
The Independent Commission of Investigations, INDECOM, says illegal firearms were seized in 67% of the 155 police fatal shootings in 2023. In another 17% of incidents, weapons other than firearms were seized. Commissioner of INDECOM, Hugh Faulkner, revealed the data while appearing on the Jamaicans for Justice produced program, Let's Talk Justice, aired on Nationwide 90 FM on Monday.
In 2023, we tabulated 155 citizens being killed in security force involved altercations, fatally injured by firearm. Of the 155, 104 instances, firearms were recovered. In 27 other cases, a weapon other than a firearm was recovered. And in another 24, no firearm or other weapon recovered.
The figures come amid an increase in police fatal shootings since the start of the year. According to INDECOM, 52 people have been fatally shot by the police since January 1. 24 of the cases have been recorded since the start of February. Faulkner says lethal force should not be the first option for the police, especially during planned operations.
When it's a planned operation, depending on the requirements of that planned operation, specific training can be conducted prior to that operation. Because if someone is injured, there's still a duty to ensure that that person gets medical attention in the quickest time and at the best and nearest location. But that planned operation must yield to the right to life and must be in accordance with all the principles of accountability. It must protect the person from arbitrary arrest or for fatality, which is unnecessary.
Hugh Faulkner, Commissioner of INDECOM.
Meanwhile, JFJ says footage from body-worn cameras is crucial to improving transparency, especially during planned operations by the police. This as the Human Rights Lobby Group reiterates its call for the use of the technology amid a surge of police fatal shootings. The executive director of JFJ is Michael Jackson.
It is the footage from the body-worn cameras that would help with an independent account of what may have transpired during these incidents. JFJ, we receive complaints from citizens within communities that the police account of what happened in a confrontation is not what they recorded on their device or what they saw.
JFJ has faced heavy backlash after it criticized the JCF for the high number of police killings since January. Jackson is unrepentant, saying JFJ's position is to defend human rights and the rule of law.
Let us not label everyone who comes in contact with the police as criminals, because even if they are If the police was not acting in self-defense or defense of others, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the court system? We have to start thinking along that line that yes, the police must defend themselves if someone is shooting at them or if there is a risk to other citizens who may be present. But calling for body-worn cameras should never be seen as somehow undermining the security forces.
Nicole Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice. She was speaking on the JFJ-produced program Let's Talk Justice, aired on Nationwide 90 FM on Monday. We'll have more news after these.
Value Drug Pharmacy offers curbside pickup and delivery of your branded and generic drugs. WhatsApp your prescription to 876-881-6695. The time by Value Drug Pharmacy is
15 minutes after 5.
Rentokil Initial offers air purification solutions with triple filtration and unique auto-sensing capabilities that neutralizes malodor and replaces it with clean air. Call Rentokil Initial at 926-4236 for more details.
The temperature by Rentokil is...
It's 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 27 in Montego Bay. Continuing the news, Rashawn Patterson, the man accused of murdering social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend, had a long criminal history, dating back to 2010. His criminal history reflects fraud, assault, wounding, arson, kidnapping, rape, and multiple murders. Patterson was shot and killed by the police in an alleged confrontation in Dundee Pen, Hanover, on Tuesday morning. Shaloi Smykel reports.
Rashawn Patterson also went by the name Jason Thompson. He was also commonly called Chezzy and Brown Man. Police sources have told Nationwide News that Patterson was aligned to the Bloods gang in St. James. That gang also operated in Hanover. Nationwide News understands Patterson first appeared on the police's radar in 2010. On April 26, 2010, he was arrested and charged for uttering forged documents. It's understood he used a fake check drawn in the name of Minot Services Limited to cash nearly $20,000 but fled the scene, leaving his driver's license. Sometime after this, the police listed him as wanted. Our news center understands he was wanted for assault, occasioning grievous bodily harm, and wounding with intent in Hopewell, Hanover. He allegedly sent death threats to a female victim. On December 14, 2012, Patterson was listed as the primary suspect in a case of arson in Hopewell, Hanover. The following year, he was fingered in several cases. On January 9, 2013, police sources say Patterson attacked and wounded a high school dean of discipline with a machete, chopping her in the face. 4 days later, on January 13, 2013, it's understood a stop order was placed against him due to multiple serious offenses, including kidnapping. The following month, on February 9, 2013, Patterson was implicated in the murder of Andre Roberts in Kingston. It's alleged that Patterson attacked Roberts and a female. He had an accomplice in that attack. Roberts was forced into the trunk of a vehicle but managed to escape. While trying to escape, Roberts was run over by the vehicle and killed. Patterson then allegedly slashed the throat of the other victim, but she survived and reported the attack. He was arrested in a sting operation and picked out in an identification parade. In the following year, on May 14, 2014, Patterson was detained at the Halfway Tree lockup for wounding with intent. He was later charged with murder, attempted murder, abduction, and rape. 5 years later, on January 1, 2019, Patterson was again listed as a person of interest in a fraudulent conversion case in Kingston. 3 years after that, on October 24, 2022, he was placed on an immigration watch list due to his status as a person of interest in the murder of social media influencer Anika Slickiana Townsend. Townsend had been picked up by Patterson on October 20 and taken to a guest house where an altercation ensued. Townsend was strangled and her body dumped in the sea. Her body was found floating with a shoelace tied around the neck on October 21. Patterson was arrested on November 2, 2022 during a sting operation at a guest house in Hanover and charged with murder on November 11. He was granted bail in July 16, 2024. But on February 4, 2025, he was picked up in a targeted raid alongside a top-tier Bloods gang member and taken to Montego Bay Police Station. He was scheduled to return to court on October 15, 2025. Shaloy Smichael for Nationwide News.
World in a Minute is brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
The World in a Minute. Trinidad and Tobago has formally adopted the use of its updated coat of arms effective today, Tuesday, February 25. This follows the proclamation of the National Emblems of Trinidad and Tobago Regulation Amendment Act 2025. The amended legislation removes Christopher Columbus's 3 ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, and replaces them with the country's national instrument, the steel pan. The act was passed in the Senate on January 21 with unanimous support. It received a similar treatment when it was introduced and debated in the House of Representatives on January 13.
UK Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer has set out plans to increase defence spending to 2.5% of national income by 2027. The current spend is 2.3% of GDP. Sir Keir said he would cut the UK's international aid budget to fund the increase. The move comes as peace talks to end the war in Ukraine gather pace. Opposition parties have welcomed the move, but charities have branded the aid cuts a betrayal. The announcement comes ahead of a high-stakes meeting between Sir Keir and US President Donald Trump set for the White House on Thursday. President Trump has been urging European countries to spend more on defense as global powers attempt to broker a deal to end the war in Ukraine.
World in a Minute was brought to you by ABC Electrical Sales. We make things as easy as ABC. Hose assembly and supply, equipping Jamaica for success.
And Charles O'Connor Consulting Network, COCN, driven by international accounting standards, modern technology and integrity.
Recapping the top stories making nationwide news at this hour, MSMEs want the government to pressure the largest commercial banks into bringing interest rates down.
St. James High School Board Chairman cites systemic lack of accountability on spending decisions as source of discord at the school.
Education Ministry says outstanding graduate allowances for teachers to be disbursed this Friday.
Indicom says illegal firearms were seized in 67% of the 155 police fatal shootings in 2023.
I'm Robianne Williams.
And I'm Bahir Stewart.
You can find the news on our website at nationwideradiojm.com and on the Nationwide app, available on Google Play and the App Store. News next, the headlines at 6.
News at 5 is brought to you by KFC's Big Deal. Order through carry-out, drive-through, delivery, WhatsApp, or the new KFC Jamaica mobile app. KFC Big Deal. Anything for the taste.
Jamaica, we are on the road to Republic. The Constitution Amendment Republic Act 2024 has been tabled, taking us one step closer to a future with our own Jamaican head of state. Read the bill and track its progress at roadtorepublic.mlca.gov.jm. Your voice matters. Get involved and stay informed. Join the journey and let's walk this road together. The Republic starts with you.
Sports at 5 is brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Defending champions Jamaica will go in search of a second victory from as many starts in the West Indies CG United Women's 50-over tournament when they face Guyana on Wednesday at St. Paul's Sports Complex in Bastyr, St. Kitts. The Jamaicans opened the new season with an easy 51-run win over Trinidad and Tobago on Monday. Captain Rashada Williams says the feeling needs improving, though.
Yesterday's performance was, I would say, probably one of our worst performance in the field. But it was good to come out with a win as defending champions. The aim was obviously to win. It was really good to see. In the field, it was a terrible day for us, but we toughed it out as a unit and we came out victorious.
And she also had high praises for the bowlers.
We had two debutants, Kate Wilmot, left arm seamer, and Krishana McKenzie, left arm opening bat. I think as a batting unit, we did well. We got off to a poor start, but we picked up in the back end and we thought we had a defendable total. And it was really good to see that our bowlers came out there and defended that total. It was good to see that I could get a half century. Unfortunately, I got out when I did, but Stefani Taylor and Shady Nation, they had a really good partnership which helped us to reach that total and some contributions from the lower order.
Jamaica's women's team captain Rashada Williams, the Guyanese are aiming to rebound from their narrow defeat to Barbados on the opening day. Trinidad and Tobago will be in action at Connery against the Leeward Islands, who also will be hoping for their first win, having suffered defeat on the opening day to the Windward Islands. The other second round game, Barbados against the Windward Islands, that clash is at Warner Park, both looking for their second straight win as well. President Wavell Hines and his entire executive team was returned to office at the annual general meeting of the West Indies Players Association WIPA this weekend. The membership also appointed its second female director. Hines will serve his 7th consecutive term as WIPA boss. The membership unanimously re-elected the incumbent leadership team for another term, which will run until 2027. The rest of the executive members, Vice President Nixon McLean, Honorary Secretary Wayne Lewis, Assistant Secretary Liam Sebastian, and Treasurer Ridley Jacobs. Newly minted Jamaica women's team captain Rashada Williams was appointed as the association's second non-elected director, joining Shakira Selman on the board. The much-anticipated Champions Trophy showdown between Australia and South Africa in Rawalpindi was washed out without even a toss due to persistent drizzle. The match was called off 3 hours and 10 minutes after the scheduled start of play at 2 hours and 22 minutes before the cut-off time for a 20-over game. This was due to be the team's first meeting at a Champions Trophy. The result means if Australia and South Africa win their final group games against Afghanistan and England respectively, they'll progress to the semi-finals. Tomorrow's match between England and Afghanistan is a knockout, with the loser certain of exiting the competition. The winner will have to beat their next opposition to make it through to the semis. As a result, one of the matches between Australia and Afghanistan on Friday and South Africa and England on Saturday could be virtual quarterfinals. Former champions Chelsea are back into the top 4 of the English Premier League, if only for 24 hours, after a 4-0 win over bottom-place Southampton at Stamford Bridge today. Three of the goals came in the first half. Chris Nkunku, Levi Colwyn and Pedro Neto. And the fourth came in the second half from the Spanish international, Marc Cucurella.
First corner of the game is a Chelsea corner. Midway through the first half, Tosin got up and wriggling in was Nkunku. And Chelsea have their lead in front of the shed. He's just giving it away to Cucurella. Nkunku's on his way and he slips in. Pedro Neto! That's a thumping finish. So flicked it in, it's 3. Thumping header from Levi Colwill. Tyreek George and Cucurella hammers it home. If there was doubt, there is doubt no more.
Chelsea now on 46 points, 2 ahead of champions Manchester City, who will be in action tomorrow in London. They'll take on Tottenham at the Tottenham Stadium. In other games today, Crystal Palace, they thrashed Aston Villa 4-1 at Selhurst Park, with Leon Bailey appearing as a second-half substitute. Fulham beat Wolverhampton 2-1 in the Midlands, and Brighton and Hove Albion keep rolling on. They stopped Bournemouth by 2-1 in London. St. George's College out of 2025 ISA under 16 Urban Area School Board basketball champions. The Light Blues achieved the feat after beating Camperdown by a narrow 47-46 win in Game 2 of their best-of-3 final at Stadium Courts this afternoon. St. George's led in all 3 quarters of the game before going on to take victory. The first quarter ended at 12-10. St. George's were even more ruthless in the second quarter, scoring an additional 12 points to Camperdown's 5. They maintained their dominance in the third quarter, ending 38-28. Camperdown's best performance came in the fourth quarter, scoring 16 points to St. George's College's 9. However, Camperdown came up short in their bid to level the series. Meanwhile, Game 2 in the Under-19 competition between Campion College and St. Catherine was called off, with Campion leading 10-6 due to rain. The Campion lead the series 1-0 following their 50-47 victory in Game 1. That's sports. We're going to be back with more at 6:05.
Sports at 5 was brought to you by Total Tools. They almost always have it.
Since 2016, 156,000 more Jamaicans are working. This is more than any other time in our history. Your government is caring for you.
The time brought to you by the Office of the Prime Minister is
5:30.
Ready to take your investments to new heights? Look no further. Barita Investments Limited just scored an A+ credit rating from CariCris. This affirms that your money is stable with a team dedicated to financial strength and expertise. Join the ranks of satisfied investors who trust Barita to deliver results. Don't just invest, elevate your financial journey with Barita Investments today. Call us at 888-429-5333 or visit any of our locations at Kingston, Montego Bay or Mandeville.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can't see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
The NWC's Bill Free promotion is here. Be one of 350 persons to get $20,000 water credit when you pay your bill in full every month until March 31, 2025. And there's more. Oh yes, you can win $300,000, $200,000 or $100,000 cash in the NWC's Bill Free promotion if you register for e-bill and pay your bill in full every month until March 31. Conditions apply. Visit nwcjamaica.com for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act, a part of the NWC's bucket full of goodies.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can't see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3 piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Go get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left foot.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Calling all coffee lovers, the wait is over. The 8th annual Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival at Hope Gardens on Saturday, March 1, celebrating the world's finest Jamaican Blue Mountain Coffee. Enjoy thrilling barista, mixologist showdown, interactive cooking and coffee demos, unique coffee-infused products, art and craft, mouth-watering food village, live entertainment, and so much more. 5,000 for adults, 3,000 for children 12 and under. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. For more details, follow the pages. The Jamaica Blue Mountain Coffee Festival is presented by the Ministry of Tourism and Tourism Enhancement Fund partners. See you there.
Cover Story is brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here nationwide at 5.
I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Siobhan Campbell.
Good afternoon, Mr. Campbell.
Good afternoon, Grandfather Hughes. How are you?
It's Grandpa.
I was respectable, so I said grandfather.
Grandpa. Anyway, in our cover story this afternoon, the Bank of Jamaica, the central bank, is blaming uncertainty in U.S. foreign policy for its decision to halt further interest rate adjustments, and adjustments mean reductions or increases. Central Bank Governor Richard Byles provided an update on the country's monetary policy during a quarterly media briefing on Monday, that's yesterday. Governor Byles says the bank has adopted a wait-and-see approach in order to assess the rapidly evolving positions of the Trump administration.
Last Thursday, the bank's Monetary Policy Committee, the MPC, deliberated on its policy stance in the context of a set of favorable macroeconomic data and forecasts for Jamaica, albeit colored by uncertainties relating to the economic policies of Jamaica's main trading partners and their potential impact on Jamaica and the rest of the world. From those deliberations, the MPC determined that the current level of policy rate continues to be appropriate to support inflation remaining within the bank's target range of 4 to 6%. As such, the committee unanimously agreed to 1. Maintain the policy rate at 6% per annum, and 2. Preserve relative stability in the foreign exchange market. Briefly highlight the factors which underpinned the MPC's decision, starting with the most recent and positive economic data. On the 17th of February, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, Statin, reported that headline inflation at January 2025 was 4.7%, representing a general declining trend from the 7.4% at January 2024. Core inflation, which excludes the prices of agricultural food products and fuels from the CPI, was 4% at January 2025, remaining consistently below 6% since July of 2023. This outturn reflects the fact that the sources of inflation have been moderated. First, the private sector's expectations of future inflation, a key driver of headline inflation, continues to fall. In the bank's December 2024 survey of businesses' inflation expectations, which was conducted over the period the 25th of November to the 21st of December 2024, respondents lowered their expectations for inflation over the next 12 months by more than 1 percentage point. This represented a continuation of a downward trend observed since the middle of 2022. Supporting lower inflation is the recent positive developments in the prices of imported intermediate and final goods. Let me explain. The average price of grains, including wheat, corn, and soybeans, for the December 2024 quarter was lower by approximately 15.1% when compared to the December 2023 quarter. In addition, average oil prices for the December 2024 quarter was lower relative to the previous year and are projected to increase only marginally over the next 2 years. Inflation in the United States, which directly affects the prices of consumer items imported by Jamaicans, decelerated to 2.9% at December 2024 from 3.4% a year earlier. On the other hand, shipping prices increased for the review quarter relative to the corresponding quarter of the previous year. The third factor supporting low inflation is that both the change in the exchange rate and businesses' expectations about its pace of depreciation in the future have remained relatively stable. At the 19th of February 2025, The exchange rate, notwithstanding some two-way movement, had depreciated by just 0.3% when compared with the rate on the 19th of February 2024. This is a slower pace when compared to the 1.9% depreciation for the same period a year earlier.
That is Governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, which paints an interesting picture, Cliff. I mean, the economy is, as Mr. Biles says, favorable macroeconomic conditions. Inflation is low, but just the uncertainty, the chaos in the White House in the United States has put the world in a tailspin. Everybody's waiting with bated breath to see what is going to happen next. When will the other foot drop? And how will this affect the global economy? It really shows not only just the power that the White House wields across the world, but how important it is that that power rests in steady, reasonable, calm hands.
The keyword predictable.
Yes.
Markets, businesses hate uncertainty, unpredictability. And the other point I made this morning to my listeners is that, some of us don't want to consider what happens in Washington or London or South Africa or wherever, but we live in a very interdependent world where none of us is an island on our own or a country on our own. And what Mr. Trump has been doing since assuming office matters. It matters for us because to reduce this to the most basic level, what we're learning from the Bank of Jamaica governor yesterday is that they are not in a position, out of a cautious wait-and-see attitude, to continue to reduce the rate of borrowing, what the price you pay for the money you borrow. And that means those of us who have mortgages to pay, rent to pay, the car loan to pay, then that is going to impact you because you will not see rates being lowered.
Precisely.
As a result. So it matters. It gets very personal. Yeah. And that's the way of the world we are now. And you will hear him say a little later that we can take some comfort in the fact that our ultimate guard against the uncertainties is the fact that we now have reserves of nearly $6 billion.
Yes, 5.6.
$5.6 billion US dollars. How old are you?
What? 37 going 38.
You're not so sure? We have never had reserves standing at $5.6 billion US dollars in your lifetime.
And it's not just the size of the reserves that are important. It's the ability to not only maintain the size of the reserves, but to keep it increasing.
Yes.
And the BOJ governor explained that because he's saying that, yes, at times we spend money in the foreign exchange market to essentially keep the dollar within a certain band, but we are also getting back that foreign exchange in an equal amount, plus our current account is running surpluses. So, and he's
and break it down for your listener. Break it down for Miss Matty. Yeah, up in Moko.
Well, to simply put it, your current account is essentially money as it goes and as it comes.
And
so
your NIR?
The NIR is essentially your strategic reserves, what you hold on to in case of a rainy
use a
day.
big word about strategic. That's our bank account.
The money under your mattress.
Yeah, no, don't tell her about the mattress. Tell her what she have in her account.
Yes, that
for rainy day,
yes.
for emergency. Yeah, if you get a shower of rain and you lose 2 sheets of zinc off of your roof and you have to go replace it. Yeah, that is where you have put aside. That is where Jamaica is today. There was a time when we had negative reserves.
Living from hand to mouth, so to speak.
Exactly. Borrow to pay the next bill.
Well, listeners, the Planning Institute of Jamaica recently presented data which showed that the economy contracted by an estimated 1.8% for the final quarter of 2024. This as the country continued to suffer from the lingering effects of adverse weather as 2024 came to an end. However, the BOJ governor is projecting that the economy will recover fully.
Over the next 2 years, inflation is projected to remain well anchored within the bank's target range of between 4 and 6%. This inflation outlook is largely consistent with the previous forecast that was shared with you in November of 2024. However, the balance of risk to the inflation forecast now appear skewed to the upside, which means that inflation could rise above the forecast. That uncertainty I mentioned earlier, related to potential economic changes among Jamaica's main trading partners, could have adverse implications for remittance and tourism inflows into the economy, as well as repercussions for inflation expectations. Worse than anticipated weather conditions in Jamaica could also continue to put upward pressure on inflation. On the downside, low inflation could result from weaker than projected demand growth. In relation to conditions, the economy is estimated by the Planning Institute of Jamaica to have contracted by 1.8% for the December 2024 quarter, following the decline recorded for the previous quarter. This contraction was predominantly reflected in agriculture, forestry and fishing, hotels and restaurants. In this context, PIOJ projects that the economy for the March 2025 quarter will grow in a range of 0 to 1%, and BOJ projects that the economy will recover fully from the effects of the weather-related events over ensuing quarters. Real GDP for financial year 25-26 is therefore projected to grow by between 1 and 3%. Growth will be underpinned by expansions for agriculture, forestry and fishing, electricity and water supply, and hotels and restaurants. Ladies and gentlemen, Bank of Jamaica remains resolute in its commitment to continue achieving its primary mandate of price stability by maintaining inflation at 4 to 6%. In this context, the bank remains committed to ensuring that the foreign exchange market remains stable. The gross international reserves of the bank are healthy and are projected to improve even further over the next 2 years. This is in a context where the current account of the balance of payments has been in surplus for some time and is projected to remain so over the near term. The gross reserves at the end of January 2025 amounted to US $5.6 billion, rising from US $4.8 billion a year earlier. The level of reserves is more than adequate when compared to international benchmarks for adequacy. Looking ahead, the bank is prepared to adjust the stance of monetary policy if the risks highlighted here today materialize and impede our ability to attain the inflation target.
The governor of the Central Bank of Jamaica, Richard Biles, giving his quarterly media briefing yesterday. We'll have more after the break.
Clear your barrels and personal shipments with ease and convenience. Request a customs contactless clearance today through CCP at jca.gov.jm. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is...
It's 5:47.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet you so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Ready to take your investments to new heights? Look no further. Barita Investments Limited just scored an A+ credit rating from CariCris. This affirms that your money is stable with a team dedicated to financial strength and expertise. Join the ranks of satisfied investors who trust Barita to deliver results. Don't just invest, elevate your financial journey with Barita Investments today. Call us at 888-429-5333 or visit any of our locations at Kingston, Montego Bay or Mandeville.
Welcome back, listeners and viewers, to the cover story. We are bringing you excerpts from the Bank of Jamaica's quarterly media briefing. I believe that was yesterday, Monday, yes. And he has spoken about the concerns about interest rates as well as their projections for economic growth going into the next fiscal year, that's 2025-2026. However, the government, opposition and business communities are all concerned about the pace of interest rate reductions in the countries, particularly on the part of banks, financial institutions. All three have called on the players in the commercial banking sector to bring their interest rates in line with recent cuts made by the BOJ. However, Governor Biles says banks are treading carefully where interest rate reductions are concerned.
So, Doran, let's look at it objectively. When rates were rising, we moved rates quite a few times, more than 4 times, up before the banks began to adjust their rate. So there's a lag period where the banks assess, is the central bank's rate increase going to be permanent? Is it going to stop here, or will it go a little further? In addition, even when banks began to adjust rates, a lot of the loans that were on the books of the banks did not get a rate adjustment. And why is that so? Because some of those loans, and in some institutions up to as much as 40%, are fixed rate loans. And so they could not move them. But also the banks judged that they would rather take a little hit on their margin and preserve the viability of some of their customers by not moving rates on them, and certainly not moving it on them significantly. Remember, we moved 6 percentage points, 6.5, I should say. So what we ended up having is that new loans got priced at new prices. That is a little ahead of what it was before. And it is those new loans which need to be adjusted by the banks. Now, the banks, when rates are coming down, want to see, where is BOJ going? Is it going to stop? Is it going to go down even more than it has so far? Because they don't want to make an adjustment and then have to make an adjustment again. Worse, that rates come down a bit and then external circumstances, some of the risks that we spoke about, mean that rates have to halt or go up back, and they have to adjust the loans back up. So I think we have to be a little understanding of the situation from the bank's point of view. What I would say is that those loans that were priced, the new loans that were priced higher, that the commercial banks could look at adjusting those rates down. And that's in the spirit that they expressed when they didn't raise some loans. Those that they did price higher, bring them back down to keep the viability of those organizations. We have a set of monetary tools that we use, and I guess you could say moral suasion is one of them. But remember, what comes with us directing banks is moral hazard. I don't want to be the governor that says to banks, you must drive them to do what they may not consider to be economically prudent. What I have said to them, and I will continue to say to them, that those loans that they put on at higher rates on the way up, they should be looking to give some relief to those customers on the way down.
Richard Biles, and that, I'm sure, didn't go down well with the MSME Alliance.
No, I spoke to Ms. Antoinette Hamilton earlier this afternoon, and she felt that was a very placid response from the BOJ governor. She feels that both him and the government of Jamaica should do more in terms of bringing the commercial banks to heel. But I understand what he's saying from a business perspective. The bankers would have said, okay, we have fixed interest rates at, say, 12%, and you were marketing at this number. Would it be fair now for us to adjust that number down as we are trending? Maybe once interest rates are settled at around 6-5%, we might revisit it at a later date. Whereas people are saying, no, just bring it down right away.
Yeah, and it can't work like that. That would not be prudential at all. And the key issue is the time lag and the factors affecting the market. Yeah. Because we just don't know where we're going to be in 3 months, 6
Precisely.
months, especially what is going to happen in the global economy. The tariffs that Mr. Trump has been positing, will those kick in? And what will that mean for imported inflation in Jamaica? Yeah? So there's a lot of uncertainty.
And as the governor points out later, it's not limited to Jamaica.
No.
Other central banks in the world are
taking a similar approach,
monitoring the situation very carefully.
Yeah.
Even those countries not with direct links, such as the BRICS countries that we hear about, even jitters are being felt in places like China, North Korea.
BRICS, please tell our listeners what you mean by BRICS.
That is a new global economic alliance, so to speak, headed by China and Russia
and Brazil and
yes,
India.
to combat essentially the dominance of the US dollar.
Right. Well, in the meantime, the central bank governor says it's not clear he waded in on this debate over whether the country is in a recession. He said it's not clear whether Jamaica is in a recession.
Let's walk through the technical analysis of recession. First and foremost, yes, 2 quarters consecutively of negative GDP growth qualifies for technical recession. However, I think that as economists, we need to look a little more broadly and understand all of the factors that impact the economy. When you look on employment has actually improved over that period. When you look at business confidence, the index published by Don Anderson recently, as well as consumer confidence, that has also grown. So you have a situation where technically the negative GDP growth for 2 quarters qualify as a recession, but other factors that normally would also be negative are not negative. And so it's not a clear-cut analysis and conclusion. That's the way we see it. We call it, when we have the data, we call it. When we don't have the data, we say it's not clear-cut. In addition, I think we can all agree that Hurricane Beryl and the heavy rains that followed a month or 2 later would have impacted the country a lot. Certainly with agriculture, but also with, say, mining, where, as you probably know, the export port had to be moved offshore or closed down. Same thing with the petroleum business had to be locked down. It would have impacted construction too. So maybe even if we are in technical recession, we will come out of it pretty quickly. So the point, Durant, is this. What is the conclusion do we draw from these 2 quarters of a recession? Is it that the sky is falling, or is it that there are some other factors that may be pointing to that it is only temporary and we can come out of it? I don't know, but I am saying let's watch and see. And I agree that there are some risks out there that could have a profound effect on the economy. We need to see those risks play out a little bit more before we call it.
The governor of the Bank of Jamaica speaking about this are we not in a recession debate. And this is just me editorializing a bit. The Bank of Jamaica would not be the entity best placed in terms of calling whether Jamaica is in a recession. That would be the PIOJ. The PIOJ is the economic planner of the country. They're the ones who do the modeling for the economics, the same models that the Bank of Jamaica pulls on to do their own research data. So if the PIOJ is the institution that says Jamaica is not in a recession, I believe they should be held at that standard. They don't say that lightly. They don't say that to gain some kind of political favor from the government. They are the ones who are placed to say, are we in a recession or are we not in a recession? And the Director General of the PIOJ has said, Jamaica, based on the underlying factors, is not in a recession. And I give you an interesting analogy. If a man shows up at a doctor's office, he's sweating, he's breathing heavily, he says to the doctor, my heart is racing. The doctor says, oh, you might be having a heart attack. And then the man goes on to explain, well, doctor, I got a phone call that said I won $1 million and I ran right over here. And I just felt so anxious.
Yes.
Then the doctor said, then you're probably not having a heart attack. It just probably means you ran over here and you're tired and you're sweating from doing that. So it's just a matter that, yes, there's a technical definition for recession. That is 2 quarters of economic decline, which we have faced as of December 2024. So for those who want to say we're in a recession, you can say that. But there is still underlying factors that underpin a recession, such as lower, or I should say higher unemployment, a fiscal picture that is deteriorating, and business confidence and consumer confidence which is declining. And these are not materializing.
According to Siobhan Campbell. Thank you very much, Siobhan. We're going to leave it there for the cover story. The headlines at 6 are next.
Cover Story was brought to you by Hyundai. Modern, premium, affordable vehicles.
The time brought to you by Guardian Life. Live secure, live easy is
6 o'clock.
Nationwide headlines at 6.
Good evening. With the headlines at 6, I'm Norige Banton. A lack of accountability on how spending decisions are made could be at the root of the ongoing discord between the chairman of the board at St. James High School and the principal. Classes at the school were cancelled on Tuesday due to what the Parent Teachers Association described as ongoing grievances that require immediate attention. The PTA did not state what the grievances were, but our news center understands that they concern the reappointment of Christopher McCurdy as chairman of the board. Speaking on Nationwide this morning on Tuesday, Mr. McCurdy said he believes the resistance is related to his approach in managing the school's finances.
The reason I believe that I am not liked is because I refuse to conform to the spending habits that exist at St. James High School, where as a chairman you rubber stamp whatever comes to you. I question every single penny that comes to me for signature. I question them, and I'm now holding on to almost $1 million in checks that I refuse to sign because there's no justification for these spending.
McCurdy and Principal Joseph Williams have been at loggerheads over the management of the institution for some time. Mr. McCurdy says there is systematic lack of accountability at the school.
There are people right now who work at the school as a teacher, who is contracted to the said school to do desk and chair repair. They're sending a bill for $600,000-$700,000. When you ask them to quantify or to provide clarification on what you're asking to be paid for here, they cannot do so. And as such, I hold on to those checks. No, the regional office, who I have a little bit of issue with, and I don't want to even go down that road because, their hands are also tied to some extent. But I would expect that even if your hands are tied, common decency should allow you to voice your opinion with authority that says, I do not support this or I do not support that.
Christopher McCurdy, chairman of the St. James High School Board. Outstanding graduate allowances for teachers are to be dispersed by this Friday, February 28. This is according to a brief statement released by the Ministry of Education early on Tuesday. The ministry says it has escalated the non-payment of the allowance to Cabinet for resolution. In the meantime, however, it says it has been instructed to continue paying the allowances until further advised. On Monday, the Jamaica Teachers Association demanded the payment of the graduate allowance and retroactive mileage allowance dating back to April 2022. According to the JTA, the Education Ministry had agreed to pay the allowance effective April 1, 2024. The association said a dispute arose between the ministry The association said a dispute arose because the ministry arbitrarily decided it would no longer honor the agreement based on a new interpretation of the said agreement. Earlier on Tuesday, the JTA told our news center the disbursement date was set for March 8. The Independent Commission of Investigations Indicom says illegal firearms were seized in 67% of the 155 police fatal shootings in 2023. In another 17% of incidents, weapons other than firearms were seized. Commissioner of Indicom Hugh Faulkner revealed the data while appearing on the Jamaicans for Justice produced program Let's Talk Justice, aired on Nationwide 90 FM on Monday.
In 2023, we tabulated 155 citizens being killed in security force involved altercations, fatally injured by firearm. Of the 155, 104 instances, firearms were recovered. In 27 other cases, a weapon other than a firearm was recovered. And in another 24, no firearm or other weapon recovered.
The figures come amid an increase in police fatal shootings since the start of the year. According to Indicom, 52 people have been fatally shot by the police since January 1. 24 of the cases have been recorded since the start of the year. Since the start of February, rather. Faulkner says lethal force should not be the first option for the police, especially during planned operations.
When it's a planned operation, depending on the requirements of that planned operation, specific training can be conducted prior to that operation. Because if someone is injured, there's still a duty to ensure that that person gets medical attention in the quickest time and at the best and nearest location. But that planned operation must yield to the right to life and must be in accordance with all the principles of accountability. It must protect the person from arbitrary arrest or for fatality, which is unnecessary.
Hugh Faulkner, Commissioner of Indicom. Meanwhile, JFJ says footage from body-worn cameras is crucial to improving transparency, especially during planned operations by the police. This, as the Human Rights Lobby Group reiterates its call for the use of the technology amid a surge of police fatal shootings. The Executive Director of JFJ is Mikel Jackson.
It is the footage from the body-worn cameras that would help with an independent account of what may have transpired during these incidents. JFJ, we receive complaints from citizens within communities that the police account of what happened in a confrontation is not what they recorded on their device or what they saw.
JFJ has faced heavy backlash after it criticized the JCF for the high number of police killings since January. Jackson is unrepentant, saying JFJ's position is to defend human rights and the rule of law.
Let us not label everyone who comes in contact with the police as criminals, because even if they are If the police was not acting in self-defense or defense of others, you have to ask yourself, what is the purpose of the court system? We have to start thinking along that line that yes, the police must defend themselves if someone is shooting at them or if there is a risk to other citizens who may be present. But calling for body-worn cameras should never be seen as somehow undermining the security forces.
Michael Jackson, Executive Director of Jamaicans for Justice. She was speaking on the JFJ-produced program Let's Talk Justice, aired on Nationwide 90 FM on Monday. Those were the headlines. At 6, I'm Nora Gay Banton. Sports is next.
Since 1995, we've been your go-to source for everything related to billiards, amusement machines, and electronics. With locations at 1A Lindsay Terrace, Kingston 10, and the Village Plaza, Big Bridge, Savannah, Lamar, we offer top-quality pool table parts and accessories, cutting-edge gaming machines, and more. We also specialize in assembly, sales, and service of amusement machines. We provide unmatched customer service, expert solutions, and products tailored to your needs. Who are we? We are Eclipse Enterprise. Telephone 876-960-3891.
We have all been there. You feel the flu coming on and you want to catch it early before you start feeling horribly sick. But between syrups, rubs, drops, pills, and sprays, it's hard to know what to use for which symptom. Don't worry, when it comes to everything cold and flu, choose Pharmacold and Flu. This little tablet relieves nasal congestion, sore throat, pain, and fever. Get on with your day with Pharmacold and Flu. Distributed by Massey Distribution.
Yeah, here? If you're tired of a cluttered office space, then you need to call Corporate Interiors International. We offer top quality industrial shelving, filing cabinets, and storage cabinets to keep your workspace organized and efficient. Plus comfortable office chairs that will keep your team productive and focused. Visit us today at corporateinteriorsjm.com or call us at 876-630-0010 for more information. Corporate Interiors International. We sell solutions, not just furniture.
Area Council 1 meets in West Rural St. Andrew, Thursday, February 27th at the Stony Hill Vocational High School, 6 p.m. Deputy Leader MP Desmond McKenzie leads the team. Here MPs Fable Williams, Alanda Terrelong, Senator Marlon Morgan, Councillor Tasha Schwab, John Myers, Rowan Hall, and others. Hosted by MP Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, always crossing the finish line and left them up on his side track. Area Council 1 meeting, West Rural St. Andrew, Stony Hill Vocational High School, Thursday 6 p.m. See you there!
Dancehall Week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, 1 full week of dancehall activities. New style. Cliff Hughes Online are there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Holla back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop are there. Food and shopping village and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum. This you wanna hold. Catch me side at Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I go with a bag of things. Them a go have dance workshop and boot camps and guess what? It's free all week. And don't forget the Dancehall Fashion Frenzy on Friday and the Dancehall Street Parade plus the big bad corrosion after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me. And if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online I got there for make you know the pre. You see? February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Top dancehall, I mean everything.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Sports here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Wayne Walker. Defending champions Jamaica will go in search of a second victory from as many starts in the West Indies CG United Women's 50-over tournament when they take on Guyana on Wednesday at St. Paul's Sports Complex in Basseterre, St. Kitts. The Jamaicans opened the new season with an easy 51-run win over Trinidad and Tobago on Monday. Meanwhile, the Guyanese are aiming to rebound from their narrow defeat to Barbados on the opening day. Jamaica's captain Rashada Williams says their fielding needs improvement.
Yesterday's performance was
I would say probably one of our worst performance in the field. But it was good to come out with a win as defending champions. The aim was obviously to win. It was really good to see. In the field, it was a terrible day for us, but we toughed it out as a unit and we came out victorious.
And she had high praises for the bowlers.
We had two debutants, Cade Wilmot, left arm seamer, and Krishana McKenzie, left arm opening bat. I think as a batting unit, we did well. We got off to a poor start, but we picked up in the back end and we thought we had a defendable total. And it was really good to see that our bowlers came out there and defended that total. It was good to see that I could get a half century. Unfortunately, I got out when I did, but Stefani Taylor and Shady Nation, they had a really good partnership which helped us to reach that total and some contributions from the lower order.
Rashada Williams, Trinidad and Tobago will be in action at Connery against the Leeward Islands, who also will be hoping for a first win, having suffered defeat on the opening day to the Windward Islands. The other second round game, Barbados against the Windward Islands, that clash will be at Warner Park, with both teams looking for their second straight win as well. President Wavell Hines and his entire executive team was returned to office at the annual general meeting of the West Indies Players Association this weekend. The membership also appointed its second female director. Hines will serve his seventh consecutive term as WIPA president. The membership unanimously re-elected Hines and the leadership team for another term, which will run until 2027. The rest of the executive members are Vice President Nixon McLean, Honorary Secretary Wayne Lewis, Assistant Secretary Liam Sebastian, and Treasurer Ridley Jacobs. Newly minted Jamaica women's team captain Rashada Williams was appointed as the association's second non-elected director, joining Shakira Selman on the board. The much-anticipated Champions Trophy showdown between Australia and South Africa in Rawalpindi was washed out without even a toss due to persistent drizzle. The match was called off 3 hours and 10 minutes after the scheduled start of play and 2 hours and 22 minutes before the cut-off time for a 20-over game. This was due to the team's first meeting. It was due to be the team's first meeting at a Champions Trophy. The result means if Australia and South Africa win their final group matches against Afghanistan and England, respectively, they will progress to the semi-finals. Tomorrow's match between England and Afghanistan is a knockout, with the loser certain of exiting the competition. The winner will have to beat their next opposition to make it through to the semi-finals. As a result, one of the matches between Australia and Afghanistan on Friday and England against South Africa on Saturday could be a virtual quarter-final. Both England and Afghanistan have to win both their matches to qualify for the Final Four. This was due to be the first meeting between Australia and South Africa since the 2023 ODI World Cup semi-finals, which Australia won, and means that they continue to have the advantage over South Africa in ICC events. Former champions Chelsea, they're back in the top 4 of the English Premier League, if only for 24 hours, after a 4-0 win over bottom place Southampton at Stamford Bridge today. The goals came from Chris Nkuno, Levi Colwill, Marco Cucurella and Pedro Neto.
First corner of the game is a Chelsea corner. Midway through the first half, Tosin got up and wriggling in was Nkunku. And Chelsea have their lead in front of the shed. Just giving it away to Cucurella. Nkunku's on his way. And he slips in. Pedro Neto! That's a thumping finish. So flicked it in, it's 3. Thumping header from Levi Colwill. Tyreek George and Cucurella hammers it home. If there was doubt, there is doubt no more.
Chelsea are now on 46 points, 2 ahead of the champions Manchester City, who will be in London tomorrow to take on Tottenham. In other games today, Crystal Palace thrashed Aston Villa 4-1 at Selhurst Park, with Leon Bailey appearing as a second-half substitute.
Wharton lobbing it up towards Richards, and Crystal Palace take the lead. On by Watkins, and bursting through is Rodgers, and Rodgers scores. Palace are onto them in a flash. Wharton for Eze. And now it's Mateta. He's buried it brilliantly. There goes Munoz again. Beautifully taken. His second. Palace's third. Mitchell has done well. And in! Oh, is that Nketiah? The icing on the cake for Crystal Palace.
Fulham beat Wolverhampton Wanderers by 2-1 in the Midlands, and Brighton and Hove Albion, they stopped Bournemouth 2-1 in London. National senior women's team strikers Kayla McKenna and Tiffany Cameron say their friendship off the field has assisted greatly with their chemistry on the field. The Reggae Girls are in Lima, Peru for the second of 2 international friendlies against the host. In the second game on Wednesday, the team won the first game by 2-0. The Jamaicans did. Cameron says it's good to have someone to keep her accountable.
With our clubs and stuff, we're always in the loop of how, we're doing. I think that's really important as well, too. Not only to be just cool in the national team environment, but also outside of that to build a friendship and a relationship, So that's been really nice, and our connection on the field is great, just like off the field.
McKenna believes Cameron's support helps to keep her focused.
We're constantly keeping up with each other, watching each other's games, following each other's results, checking in and stuff. It's good to have that kind of support, and it's good to have that support from somebody who you're not on the same club team with, but also watches and supports you from a little bit of a distance.
That's Kayla McKenna. Edith Dalton-James maintained their 100% record following their 2-1 win over St. Jago in the Issa Tip Friendly Society Schools Girls Football Competition, and that was today. And finally, St. George's College are the 2025 Issa Under-16 Urban Area Schoolboy Basketball Champions. The Light Blues achieved the feat after beating Camperdown by a narrow 47-46 win in Game 2 of the best-of-3 final at the stadium coach today. St. George's led in all quarters. The first quarter ended with the Georgians leading 12-10. St. George's were even more ruthless in the second quarter, scoring an additional 12 points to Camperdown's 5. They maintained their dominance in the third quarter, ending 38-28. Camperdown's best performance came in the fourth quarter, scoring 16 points to St. George's 9. However, Camperdown came up short in their bid to level the series. The Game 2 in the Under-19 competition between Campion College and St. Catherine High was called off, with Campion leading 10-6 due to rain. Campion lead the series 1-0 following their 50-47 win in Game 1. That's sports.
For all your scales and food processing equipment, call Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited at 876-968-9612 to 5. The time by Advanced Scales and Equipment Limited is
6:20.
Visit Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore, for all your prescription needs, gifts, personal care, household and stationery items. The temperature by Marshall's Pharmacy, Greater Portmore is
23 degrees Celsius here in the nation's capital, Kingston. It's 27 in the western city, Montego Bay.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see what we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Bro, get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left feet.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Yeah, here? If you're tired of a cluttered office space, then you need to call Corporate Interiors International. We offer top quality industrial shelving, filing cabinets, and storage cabinets to keep your workspace organized and efficient. Plus comfortable office chairs that will keep your team productive and focused. Visit us today at corporateinteriorsjm.com or call us at 876-630-0010 for more information. Corporate Interiors International. We sell solutions, not just furniture.
Area Council 1 meets in West Rural St. Andrew, Thursday, February 27th at the Stony Hill Vocational High School, 6 p.m. Deputy Leader MP Desmond McKenzie leads the team. Here MPs Fable Williams, Alanda Terrelong, Senator Marlon Morgan, Councillor Tasha Schwab, John Myers, Rowan Hall and others. Hosted by MP Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, always crossing the finish line and left them up on his side track. Area Council 1 meeting, West Rural St. Andrew, Stony Hill Vocational High School, Thursday 6 p.m. See you there!
Hi there. Here's some good news for these trying times. Quote, by God's word, I can see where I'm going. They throw a beam of light on my dark path. Unquote. Psalm 119, verse 105. Listen for God's word weekdays at 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. through
Oasis. Stop by for a refreshing drink and share a God perspective for the day.
Oasis. Weekdays 5:45 a.m. and 12:55 p.m. right here on Nationwide, a revolution in media.
The rebroadcast of the Oasis can be heard weekdays at 5:45 a.m.
Public Opinion is brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, Industrial Automation and Control Solutions.
Good evening, and welcome to Public Opinion. I'm Roby Ann Williams. A special one to our friends over on our YouTube platform. Thank you so much for tuning in. We ask you to weigh in live in the comment section on today's Public Opinion. So let's get to it. The Ministry of Education says it has intervened to restore order at St. James High School. This following the cancellation of classes on Tuesday due to a dispute involving the chairman of the school board, the school principal, and the president of the Parent Teachers Association. Now, Nationwide understands that grievances that led to a disruption in classes at the school on Monday and the suspension of all classes on Tuesday surround the reappointment of Christopher McCurdy as chairman of the board. Now, McCurdy and the principal, Joseph Williams, have been at loggerheads over the management of the institution. McCurdy is reportedly unpopular with Williams after raising conflict of interest issues over the presence of Williams's wife as part of the school board. It's understood that things escalated on Monday, yes, with Williams allegedly attempting to block McCurdy from entering the compound for a meeting, or sources say that the police had to be called in and they got involved. Yeah, we received images on Tuesday showing debris blocking the roadway leading to the school. The ministry says it acknowledges the unfortunate breakdown in leadership that has disrupted the school's operation, and it says that the executive director for the National Council on Education has been deployed at the school. So based on the stories we've aired about that school and also what's been happening at the institution, we want to ask you, the people, should the education minister be empowered to sack school principals? Should the education minister be empowered to sack school principals? That's the public opinion question this evening. I'm going to start with the comments on our Facebook platform, where Vivian Hanchard is saying, yes, if they fall out of line, there should be standards by which all principals should abide. Fitzmatis also agreeing to say, yes, the minister ought to be so empowered, but it should be through a process established for the school boards to present credible cause for such ultimate action. And I must point out that the school board is actually responsible for the sacking of principals. Brian Cameron says anyone who agrees is only showing how much they agree with the corruption. Yeah, they have no love for this country. Elarita Mitchell says, yes, since the JTA only function to get more money and hold students hostage, that body not working to help find solutions to any problem. All right, Maureen Cunningham says, unless it's not political. Brian Cameron is saying, no, this will continue to encourage corruption. So are you saying a minister of education who might have a political vendetta against a principal who might be said to be aligned with the opposition could just get up and fire the principal? I say no. Let the school board continue to manage our schools. Ono too bad, ono can't be trusted. That's according to Brian Cameron there. Marvin Momo is saying no, too much power for one person. Leave that to the the Jamaica Teachers Council, or rather the school board. Yeah. JJ says, I don't believe it will make much difference. And I'm seeing Michelle here talking about the same corruption. Yeah, the same corruption that may happen if the education minister is so empowered to sack school principals. Anthony Sheikh says, yes, long time some principal behave like them own the school them. And Fabian Smith is also saying yes, and also teachers should be paid based on their performance. And we've been hearing this one for a long time now, yeah? Let me see. Lou Bailey is saying ministers have a cadre of advisors, including the education officer for the school. I would be very surprised if the minister simply upped and made such a decision solo. The buck has to stop somewhere, and it should be where criticism would be directed if something went wrong. Yeah? Shins for Life Law saying to us, most definitely that should be implemented long time. All right, let me see what's on our Instagram platform, where Desi Red saying that they're not going to do it. So don't matter if they are empowered or not. Politics run school. Buchanan is saying it would be quite chaotic. I would love to fire she and others right now, but guess what? There is a process that takes place every 5 years. The principal should be reported to the Teachers Commission if there are issues. Paul is saying no to the question, should the education minister be empowered to sack school principals? And he's giving reasons. He says, however, the education should have discretionary powers. The minister should have discretionary powers to convene a meeting with the requisite stakeholders to make a decision if a principal should be fired. I'm seeing absolutely here coming from Junior. No way coming from Buchanan. Yeah. Let me see. Boss Lady says yes, because the buck stops with the holder of that office. All right, to the comments now on our YouTube platform. Should the education minister be empowered to sack school principals? This comes amid fallout. One would think of leadership at the St. James High School. We saw a picture of the roads being blocked leading to the school, and the classes were disrupted on Tuesday and cancelled. Well, disrupted on Monday rather, and cancelled entirely on Tuesday. Yeah? Angie Forever says, get the young leavers who are eligible to... Okay, I think that's a different thing, Angie, over there. Yeah? Proper saying, a ministry peer them. Why not give power to fire them? Why the principals get to choose most of the people on the board? Yeah. Bertie is saying ministry must set up a board to deal with principal. D Muse is saying that there's nothing in Jamaica that isn't political, but let it stay with the board. And Proper again is saying a ministry peer them. Yes. Let's see if I can get into this one. Portland says no one person should be able to do that. Yeah? And as I say, as it stands, the chair, the entire board has to make such a decision. And my editor was telling me that it has to be a unanimous one in order to remove a principal. Stronglink is saying no, a political person should not have that authority. The board should be a position to recommend their dismissal to be ratified by the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. Yes, Betsy Powell, it's raining here in Kingston. Yep, I see your comment. Let me see if I can get in a few more. Furtis Bartley is saying that the principal appears to be causing the school to be in disrepute. School closed, children lost education. Who in charge of education? Marlene P says some principals are very dishonest. Yeah? Leonard Seville says yes, the minister must take action. The school don't belong to Joseph Williams. All right, let me see if I can get in a few more here. So the principal Abadup in Boss says is questioning Electro Squad. Yeah? All right, let me see. I'm scrolling down to the end here. Errol Morris says, of course, ministers are in charge. Yeah? Ministers are in charge. Marcus the Best, I want to hear you on this one. What say you? Should? I'm going to repeat the question. Marcus the Best, want to hear from you. Should the education minister be empowered to sack school principals? What are your thoughts on that one? Quickly. Portland 60, yes. No one person should be allowed to make such a decision. Linda Ming says no minister in any ministry can fire anybody. Well, there you have it. Let me see on our Instagram. Yeah. Tears Drop says no, because they are worse. All the smiles you're seeing on social media of the education system is fake. Yeah? All right. A lot of comments on this one. Grace Williams says, yes, I believe so, because look what is now taking place down at that school. If he or she did have the power to do so, come tomorrow morning, he or she would know that they would be out of a job. Marcus the Best saying, executive decision. That's an executive decision. So yes. All right. Thank you so much for participating in Public Opinion. That's all the time we have. Do stay tuned. The Business Report is up next.
Public Opinion was brought to you by Cleasing Industrial Supplies Limited, industrial automation and control solutions.
Drive the most exciting new vehicles in Jamaica. Schedule your 2024 Ford Ranger pickup or Ford Everest 7-seater SUV test drive now. Call or visit KIG today.
The time by KIG is
33 minutes after 6.
Annual eye examinations not only assess your vision but may be life-saving. Eye tests may detect serious health issues that go beyond your vision. Call IQ Optical to schedule your comprehensive eye test today.
The temperature by IQ Optical is
24 degrees Celsius in Kingston, 26 Southwest in Montego Bay. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Nationwide's Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. The government is advising that the prospectus for the Trans-Jamaican Highway Limited offer for sale is now available for public access on the Jamaica Stock Exchange website. Interested investors can view and download the document. The offer for sale officially opens on March 4, 2025 and closes on March 18, 2025. The government says this presents a unique opportunity for Jamaicans to own a greater stake in a key national infrastructure asset. Further afield, Singapore's biggest bank, DBS, says it expects to cut about 4,000 roles over the next 3 years as artificial intelligence, AI, takes on more work currently done by humans. The move will affect temporary and contract staff, and with the reduction in the workforce coming from natural attrition as projects are completed, permanent staff are not affected by the cuts. The bank's outgoing chief executive also said it expected to create around 1,000 new AI-related jobs. And finally, in the currency markets at the close of trading today, it cost 157 Jamaican dollars and 85 cents to buy $1 US, 201 Jamaican dollars and 92 cents to buy $1 British pound, and 111 Jamaican dollars and 23 cents to buy the Canadian dollar. That's the Business Report. I'm Robianne Williams. Good evening.
We a big deal when we touch ground. Yeah, I can see when we're pulling up. Anything for the taste what we love. Barbecue, spicy and original, flavorful, crispy, irresistible. 3-piece with the fries and a Pepsi. Bro, get your one big deal, stop stress me. All when we dip on the toilet, no left feet.
Anything for the taste of a juicy, crunchy, irresistible KFC big deal. 3 pieces of delicious chicken, fries and Pepsi. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic. Well then, let's propel we nation moving forward in a new direction. True independence, that's the projection. No more dependency, it's the best plan. Yes, we know what's best for us, cause we want we country prosperous. So make we just pull together as the general public while on the road to republic. Jamaica, let's spread the word around to let the world know that we are proud to be one republic. We on the road to republic.
A message from the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
We on the road to republic.
Dance all week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, 1 full week of dancehall activities.
New style, style.
Cliff Hughes Online, I got there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Follow back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop I got there, food and shopping village, and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum. This you wanna hold? Catch me side of Cliff Hughes Online. Me a dance and I go on with a bag of things. Them I go have dance workshop and boot camps, and guess what? It's free all week. And don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade, plus the big bad corrosing after party on Sunday. Me, Affidede. It can't miss me, and if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes Online I got there if you make you know the pre. You see? February 26th, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall love me everything.
If it's in the public's interest, it's the nation's business during Nationwide at 5. The nation's business.
It's Monday, get over your blues. Or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The E-Zone is here for you. With this thing at Honeybee.
And Karim Boyatings
from 3 to 5 p.m. on Nationwide 90 FM.
We've got your entertainment news.
Then we want to hear your views. Why you said?
Jump in the mix.
Or the hot seat.
Don't miss our brain busters.
Or the crazy giveaways.
Let's talk fashion.
Send us your outfit of the day. Ooh, cutesy. Very demure.
Are you looking for love?
Come on one of our blind dates. Send your request to ezoneblindates@gmail.com. That's ezoneblindates@gmail.com.
And stay tuned for your confessions.
These are my confessions. Share them with us at ezoneconfessions@yahoo.com. I mean, is this planet Earth?
Is it?
I don't know. Let me check. Either way, it's got a buzz.
And a bugger thing.
Ow! Ow!
Nationwide 90 FM wants to help you find your home sweet home with all things real estate. A 15-minute program during Nationwide This Morning every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. All Things Real Estate gives you expert advice on how to navigate the process of owning any real estate, from residential and commercial to industrial or even vacant real estate. We'll guide you through every square foot of information. Now, let's turn that for sale into sold with All Things Real Estate every Wednesday at 8:35 a.m. on Nationwide 90 FM, the new revolution in media.
Good evening, listeners. Welcome to the Nation's Business. I'm Siobhan Campbell.
And I'm Cliff Hughes.
Well, we are turning over to the situation in St. James High. A lack of accountability on how spending decisions are made could be at the root of the ongoing discord between the chairman of the board at St. James High School and its principal. Classes at the school were cancelled on Tuesday due to what the Parent Teachers Association described as ongoing grievances that require immediate attention. However, they did not state what those grievances were.
But our news center understands that they concern the reappointment of Christopher McCurdy as chairman of the school board. We've also seen video footage of students chanting, "McCurdy must go." Speaking on Nationwide this morning on Tuesday, Mr. McCurdy said he believes the resistance is related to his approach in managing the school's finances.
The reason I believe that I am not liked is because I refuse to conform to the spending habits that exist at St. James High School, where as a chairman you rubber stamp whatever comes to you. I question every single penny that comes to me for signature. I question them, and I'm now holding on to almost $1 million in checks that I refuse to sign because there's no justification for these spending.
McCurdy and the principal, Joseph Williams, have been at loggerheads over the management of the institution for some time. McCurdy is reportedly unpopular with Williams after raising conflict of interest issues over the presence of Williams' wife as part of the school board.
It's understood that things escalated on Monday, that's yesterday, with Williams allegedly attempting to block McCurdy from entering the compound for a meeting. All sources say the police got involved. Mr. McCurdy says there is systemic lack of accountability at the school.
There are people right now, who work at the school as a teacher, who is contracted to the said school to do desk and chair repair. They're sending a bill for $600,000-$700,000. When you ask them to quantify or to provide clarification on what they're asking to be paid for here, they cannot do so. And as such, hold on to those checks. No, the regional office, who I have a little bit of issue with, and I don't want to even go down that road, because, their hands are also tied to some extent. But I would expect that even if your hands are tied, common decency should allow you to voice your opinion with authority that says, I do not support this or I do not support that.
That's Christopher McCurdy. He's the chairman of the St. James High School Board. Well, amid the disruption on Tuesday, the ministry dispatched a team to intervene in the impasse. The team includes the executive director for the National Council on Education, the acting chief education officer, Terry Ann Thomas Gale, and the regional director, Dr. Michelle Pinnock. To discuss matters further, we're being joined by President of the Jamaica Association of Principals of Secondary Schools, Lynn Verner Wright, and President of the Jamaica Association of Chairmen of Secondary Institutions, Courtney Winter. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Thank you. Good evening again, Lynn Verner. Lynn Verner Wright, what do we have here? Is this a school now that has descended into a battle zone, a war zone between two factions? A teacher this morning told Tonna Thomas and George Davis that there are two groups in the school, two factions, one known as the Evil Squad, a group of 12 teachers versus the rest, aligned to Principal Williams. But here we are this day in history where a school was shut down by the PTA and there is war, virtually war, students being used as props in a demonstration. How do we fix this?
I think we have to have a mature approach. The fact is that the Ministry of Education itself needs to do a proper investigation as to what is taking place at the school. I don't know that we should speculate about things based on what we hear from students or what we're hearing from the chairman himself. I think there needs to be some objective analysis of what is taking place there. We need to go and find out if many of these things that are being alleged are true, because I think there are serious allegations, and I don't know that, if the ministry is not. I heard the chairman saying the ministry, their hands are tied. I don't know what that means, but in my mind, a school where the relations between chairman and principal is good, these kinds of things don't happen. And I think it is more than Mr. McCurdy is saying, right? One of the things that seems to be happening, and as I said, I don't want to give
hold it there for me, Lynn Vern. Just a moment, Mr. Wright. Just hold it there for me. Let us take a quick break and come back with you.
This time signal is sponsored by Janet Global Accreditation, an agency of the Ministry of Industry, Investment and Commerce. The time is now.
It's 6:46.
Yes, we're back with you, Lynn Van Wright. Go ahead.
Yeah, but another quick thing I want to put in.
But hold on, Lynn Van. Hold on. Because this is not something that happened over the last school year. It has been going on for at least 3-4 years now.
Yes.
It's been widely reported.
Yes.
Doesn't this tell us...
It's what? Yeah, it's what has been widely reported.
The dispute between the principal and the chairman, and the dispute and other disputes between the principal and parents and teachers.
But just a quick thing. There's this kind of dispute, but the chairman has been reappointed.
Yes.
Right? I think when these, and the other thing that we have to look at is that prior to that time, did we have these kinds of things? What's the record of the principal at that school given what had happened before?
Mm-hmm.
And I think all of those things ought to be there, because if you check what has happened at a school, and I'm not proving or trying to prove or disprove anything, but I believe that we have got to be careful. That school I know was one school where nobody wanted their child to go maybe 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that school I know some transformation has taken place.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that if it is that you have a careful way of ensuring that we look at who and who partnerships can work with.
No,
It doesn't seem that the partnership between principal and chairman.
Hold on, Inverna, but where I'm going, because I don't know those details. What I
Right.
do know, that we have structures in place
For
that
what?
should work to deal with the issues that have been publicized for the last several years.
Like
And
what
I
issues
speak,
are
for
they?
example, the regional director of education in the area, the education officer, the chief education officer. This is not something that has been secret, that we don't know. And the investigation that you spoke about, yes, that should have been done long time ago.
Yes, but it may be
So it
deeper
means
than
that the system is failing.
But it may be deeper than that. I'm not quick to say that. I'm not quick to say that. One of the things that I think, you see, Cliff, we must look at two things.
Mm-hmm.
One, many of the things that happen in many of these schools that are not trust schools and church schools,
Mm-hmm.
right? They will not happen in trust schools and church schools, because I think the choice of chairman tending those schools to be far more careful, and politicians don't have the kind of sway that they have in
Public
these
schools.
government-run schools.
Government.
One of the problems I think that is happening, sir. One of the things that I think that is happening, because this is not just a school that are having these kinds of things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
One of the, where I think the members of parliament have too much sway in the selection of principals, of chairmen.
Oh.
We have this kind of issue. And I think it's one of the things principals have been calling for that, and it is something that we need to look into. But the ministry says need to do the investigation, but we have called as principals for a long time for these kinds of things not to be happening. But
in the case of this chairman, these issues preceded him.
Meaning what?
The issues of how the school was being run by this particular
in relation to finances.
Finances, the accountability systems, yes, nepotism.
There was an investigation by the ministry, and they went in and nothing, and they found many of those things not to have been so.
So there was an investigation, you're telling me, Mr.
Yes,
Wright?
I know of that.
Oh.
But that's where I would like to ask you, Mr. Wright. Are you suggesting then that the issues bedeviling the school are almost a concoction on the part of the board chairman?
I can suggest nothing. All I'm saying, I can suggest nothing in relation to whether or not I think it's a concoction. What really is happening is that many of these things are deeper than what's being seen. And as I said, there needs to be some kind of investigation as to what is happening.
Mr. Wright.
Because no school where we care. I said there are some, many of us don't want to talk, you know.
Well,
there are some schools in Jamaica that these things couldn't happen because those chairmen have
And
been
I take that point.
carefully chosen.
I take that point. But
Right.
Mr. Wright, you said something that I think is new.
Yes.
You said, to your knowledge, there was an investigation into some of these allegations. How long ago was that investigation?
I know during the time of Mr. Thwaites, there was some investigation. During the time when I think who was permanent secretary, I know they had gone down there, and in fact the minister got so involved, and it came out that the gentleman was exonerated.
You mean Mr. Thwaites, as in the former education minister?
Yes.
That was more than 10 years ago, right?
Right. Yes.
Oh. Mr. Winter?
Yes, sir.
How do we fix this?
All right. So the education regulation of 1980 is very clear around what the responsibility of a chairman is. Not only that, we have been having a lot of discussion, a lot of training around the ethos of schools, the relationship between principals and chairmen. In fact,
I myself spoke about that last October in a conference in Montego Bay. There has been attempts by the NCE, National Council for Education, as well as the Ministry of Education. In fact, just last week, I attended at St. Peter's and Paul, where that very issue was on the agenda. So there are many different institutions, different ways in which we try to inform or educate the principals and the chairman around their roles. I think what is happening here, in my personal opinion, is that there are personality conflicts. I'm not so sure that the issue last year where the principal had terminated the young lady who did that case, I'm not so sure that was resolved. And now we know that probably was not properly resolved. Now, I hear Linval in terms of, his suggestion that MPs should not be involved with the selection of chairman. But where I would push back, although in general that might be true, but where I would push back is that these issues are not happening in every school where MPs have recommended chairmen. What I would agree, though, and what I have discovered since I became president of the Chairman Association, is that some of this are happening in some schools. However, we have never seen it this bad, where even the PTA, I'm not sure who gives the PTA authority to call school to a close. And so it really, I know up to about half an hour ago, they were still locked in discussions at the school with the National Council of Education and Ministry of Education. But I think some serious intervention beyond what is really happening on the surface. Mm-hmm. There need to be some root cause type of intervention between that chairman and the principal. And the other point that I would like to make is that Linval need to understand that the principal was not reinstated, but reappointed. So
not the principal, the chairman.
The chairman, sorry, was reappointed. So, that means something. So, I'm going to suggest that there are some personality issues here. There are some egos, and if people check those egos and those personalities and work towards the improvement of the school itself, that will redound to the benefit of the students. I think that should be the end game for everyone involved.
Yes, Mr. Winter, but I would like to ask you a very specific thing. Where you sit as a chairman of a school board, would you find it in order for that school board, for the vice principal to be not only the president of the PTA, but also the PTA's representative on said school board? Would you not consider that a bit out of sorts?
And the wife of the principal.
Yes. I would see that as a direct conflict of interest.
And ought not to be.
And should not be recommended. No, I don't think there was anything.
Let me hear Lynn Verne on that before we go in further.
There's nothing
hold on.
that would prevent that from happening, but there is something called conflict of interest, as you stated, and so I would see that person as a direct conflict of interest.
Lynn Verne, do you share that view? That represents
it's an uncomfortable situation.
Not uncomfortable, Lynn Verne. That's a conflict.
Just a sec now. Just a sec. But I just figure that's how we need to deal it. And we must be fair in how we look at things,
Yes.
In the same, I'm fair, and I'm saying it's an uncomfortable situation, right?
Uncomfortable.
But just a sec. Here's the point I'm making. Right? Are those the real issues at the school, though? Are those the real issues?
But Lynn Verne, can they be divorced, though?
And I'm saying if that is one of them, it must be dealt with. But I'm saying
it is one of them, according to the chairman.
The PTA suspends the functions of the school for a day based on a dispute, whereas that same PTA, the president is the wife of the principal, as well as a vice president and a member of the school board.
Yes, and all of that could be so, but there are instances in which PTAs are uncomfortable with things and they do what they have to do.
No, Linvern, this is not about being uncomfortable. This is a reality where the vice principal, who is the wife of the principal, is the president of the PTA, the representative of the PTA on the board, and that can be a matter of discomfort.
And that is a big issue in all of this.
No, that is one of the issues.
Let's look at
That's one of the other big issue. The other big issue, as we have heard over the years, that Mr. Williams runs a school without due regard to the education code. We had a big story here about 18 months ago over his expulsion of a student. Yes? Because he just flouted the rules. And now we also hear from the recently reappointed chairman expenditure, how things are done.
Let me say.
But I'm also saying, Cliff, one of the things we have to look at in terms of fairness.
Yes.
Has your station heard from this principal?
We have made several efforts, and he spoke with us. Let me tell you, he spoke with us. He spoke with us twice in a short interview for the news. Yes?
Yes.
And he wasn't convincing.
Yes. And the chairman...
Hey, Cliff.
Yes.
I heard the chairman and his concern about the finances. Now, let me just say this. The regs of 1980 need to be modernized. Because
they're antiquated.
The way it is set up, chairmen could easily view themselves as executive chairman, because they have to sign every voucher, every expense. They have to technically hire, fire. So it's set up in a way that chairmen are executive. However, in best practice doesn't allow chairmen to get involved with the day-to-day running of the school. So, but when the chairman says he has concern about spending, remember, chairmen are responsible. There should be a finance committee of the board. The board is responsible for holding the school responsible for their budget. And so if the chairman were to ask questions around spending, then he should demand getting an answer regarding spending. If the chairman is saying he cannot justify why some spends are occurring, then to me that is an issue if he can't get responses. So we have to look at what is happening at the school and how the governance is operating. And I think the chairman and the board, in their wisdom, is just trying to fix the governance of the school. And based on my limited information, I think there is a governance issue at St. James High.
Mm-hmm. Well. Thank you very much, Mr. Linvern Wright, and the chairman of
Courtney Winter.
Courtney Winter. Thank you very much, gentlemen. But this is an untenable situation. It's been going on for too long. And what Mr. Wright told us, this is a matter that has been more than 10 years now. And there was a prior investigation which exonerated the principal, Mr. Williams. And here we are again. Yeah, the students of St. James High School are the ones suffering.
They have been as props in a political demonstration, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, they are being used as props. And I can't see how that can ever be justifiable. Huh? Adults, you have a problem with your chairman or your principal, and you use your students in this way? That should be a disqualifying mark against the principal or whoever is responsible for that. You just don't do that. Yeah? And the base of the problem is the education code that was written almost 50 years ago. 1980, almost 50 years ago. And that is hobbling the education system. Hobbling it. Because some people, especially in schools, where there are not strong governance systems and traditions in place, principals can capture schools. And we have had cases of principals effectively capturing schools and run it like their own fiefdom.
As Linford alluded to, this is not a problem that happens in trust schools or church-run schools, because those schools have very strong
practices.
Exactly, and principles on which they govern the institution and how the principal is allowed to behave.
Exactly. I see some people talking about what if you are a teacher and you are also the parent of a child at the school. That is not the point. The work of the PTA means the issues that comes before it, is going to very often or frequently pit or bring into contention the principal and the leadership of the school and the PTA.
And the board of the school
and the board.
As well.
Therefore, you cannot have the representative of the PTA on the board being the wife of the principal. That is just unacceptable by any measure. You can't have that. You should not have that.
And as you rightfully said, Cliff, the fact that that is not specifically outlined in the education regulations is quite telling.
Exactly. And but again, this sounds like a school that has been captured by the principal and his supporters. Prove me wrong. 4 minutes after 7 o'clock. After the break, Nature's Remedies.
Jamaica's Spark program is investing $45 billion to improve roads, water, and telecom. Better infrastructure for a better future. The time by Spark is
4 minutes after 7.
Experience the joy of buying a brand new Hyundai without breaking the bank. Yes, buying a brand new car should never leave you broke. From stylish designs and safety features to comfortable driving and reliability, Hyundai is the choice. Hyundai vehicles come standard with 2 years free service and 5 years warranty and roadside assistance for your peace of mind. Drive 2 years without service cost and 5 years without fear of being stranded. Hyundai. Conditions apply.
My Mega With so much to do in one location, make Megamart your one-stop shop. Pick up your groceries and houseware needs, grab a bite and pay some bills, fill your prescriptions and see the beauty products in our pharmacy. All in one amazing location. My Megamart, the best value by far. My Megamart, best value by far.
Area Council 1 meets in West Rural St. Andrew, Thursday, February 27th at the Stony Hill Vocational High School, 6 p.m. Deputy Leader MP Desmond McKenzie leads the team. Here MPs Fable Williams, Alanda Terrelong, Senator Marlon Morgan, Councillor Tasha Schwab, John Myers, Rowan Hall and others. Hosted by MP Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, always crossing the finish line and lift them up on his side track. Area Council 1 meeting, West Rural St. Andrew, Stony Hill Vocational High School, Thursday 6 p.m. See you there!
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey. Spirulina build up my confidence.
6 minutes after 7 o'clock. Time now for Nature's Remedies. And this week's episode of Nature's Remedies, all about educating you, informing you about the use of natural herbs. Tonight we'll be talking about Beetroot Boost. Yeah, the Beetroot Boost. As usual, we'll be opening the line so you can call in with any questions you might have for our resident pharmacognosist, Dr. Denise Daly. And we have joining me this evening, Mr. Mahiri Stewart. He will be taking us through with me for the next hour. Siobhan Campbell had to leave us earlier. So, Dr. Daly, good evening.
Good evening, Sir Cliff. Good evening, Mahiri. How are you guys doing this evening? And good evening, listeners.
Good evening. Good evening. Beetroot boost. Yes? Everybody know the beetroot, right, Mahiri?
Indeed. I actually don't. That's the whole reason I'm here, to learn.
Really?
Yeah.
The beetroot boost?
No, I've never heard of beetroot. I know beetroot.
Yes.
But the boost, that's news to me, man.
Yeah.
But we'll see what's about.
What is this beetroot boost, Dr. Daly?
Basically, how can you boost your immune system, boost your blood pressure, boost blood circulation, boost reproductive health? There's so many different ways in which we can use beetroot to boost our body's health and wellness.
Yeah. I drink it.
Does it help?
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. How?
You feel different. You feel better. Yeah.
You don't?
Neat.
It does. All right. So
go ahead, doctor.
We know beetroot. It's part of one of our Sunday drink that we'll make with carrots sometimes. And we'll do a blend up with our beetroot. But just a little context of how can you find it, how it looks. So it's Beta vulgaris. That's the scientific name of beets or beetroot. They also refer to it as garden beet or spinach beet. And how we use it, oftentimes we only use the taproot portion. Have you tried the leaf portion of the beetroot before?
No, I never tried that.
So you see, again, it's called spinach beet because it's in the same family, the Amaranthaceae, as callaloo, quinoa, spinach, Swiss chard. Yes.
So you can cut it up and stew it just like you cook down your callaloo?
There you go. Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So we're throwing away a major nutritional and medicinal portion of our beetroot. So the leaf portion is medicinal. It is rich in nutrients. So all those nutrients you get from your callaloo and your spinach and your Swiss chard, your greens.
Yes.
Your beet is a rich source of that.
Oh.
So start making some salads or start steaming it by itself or with your callaloo and your spinach or adding it to smoothies.
Yes. Oh.
So they're in the same family. So it's not just the roots that's edible, but also the leaf as well.
Okay. And the key in nutrients in beetroot, Doc?
Definitely. You have magnesium. You have your potassium that helps again with your blood pressure. You have a lot of vitamin Bs. Now, when I mentioned vitamin Bs, when you're cooking or when you're preparing beetroot, if you have it raw, it can be had raw or cooked. If you're having beetroot raw and you're making it as a juice, you will get your vitamin Bs. These are your water-soluble vitamin, your B1, your thiamine, riboflavin, your folate, which is so important for pregnant women or just for neural health, for your nerves, for your bones and blood vessels. With the beets, your water-soluble vitamins, you can have it intact when you just eat it raw. Or if you blend it and make a juice. But if you boil it and cook it and then the water turns red, etc., you're losing some of your water-soluble vitamins. So you also have a rich source of fiber, soluble fiber and your insoluble. So all type of fiber that helps to pull cholesterol from and reduce your cholesterol level from your blood. So many vitamins and minerals, rich source having our beetroots.
So you said you already consume beetroot as is. You say it makes you feel better, but Dr. Daly, what is this better that Mr. Hughes is feeling? What's changing inside of him that's making him feel better when he consumes this beetroot?
All right. So what's changing? One, beetroot gives that initial boost. That's why it's called that, because after physical exertion or just high intensity exercise, extra, whatever excess work you're doing, it infuses or gets the body with or a lot of these vitamins go into the blood quickly. And not only that, the other betalins, the deep red, color from your beetroot, they are also medicinal. So it helps the liver to detox and start getting rid of any toxin, whether it's the stress compounds that are built up or any toxins from our food, etc. It breaks them down quickly. So it helps to replenish our blood vessels as well, or red blood cells as well. So a lot of athletes have beets as a part of their drink after exercise.
How best should we prepare it for maximum benefit?
Maximum benefits, you can have it both ways. If you want to have all your vitamins, you can have it raw and blend it to make a juice. Similar to having it with your carrot. You blend your carrot, your beetroot, and a little ginger, and you have it. Or your carrot, your beetroot, you boil it, and then you have it with some milk, whether it's almond milk, cow's milk, coconut milk, etc.
What about condensed milk?
Condensed milk, yes, we do add and sweeten it a bit if you need to. That's one of the ways we make it in Jamaica.
Right.
That thick, rich smoothie. So that is fine. If you get, let's say you have a farm and you planted a lot of beetroot, now how can you preserve it and keep it as rich and fresh as possible and retaining its nutrients? You want to keep the skin on, and you can roast it in the skin and keep it on. Or you can heat it, just heat it a little bit in the skin and keep it, and that helps to retain your vitamins and your minerals. So that is your tuber, the taproot.
Hold on, Dr. Daly. I'm seeing someone in the comments say, but beets have sugar, so Cliff, being a diabetic, should not have it. Is that true, or is that something you're going to have to debunk for us?
Beets have sugar. However, these are part of your natural sugars.
Exactly.
Beets actually help to control your blood sugar level because of the betaline that it contains. So it's very effective in lowering your blood sugar level. It all goes back to temperance. You're not going to have it every day.
Right.
Right. So when you do have it, it does help with enhancing your health and various aspects of it.
And as diabetics, if you take care of yourself, it's about moderation.
It is. And beet is very low glycemic. It has sugar, but it's a low glycemic food.
Yes. And this is grown all over Jamaica, Doc?
Yes, it has. Yes, it is. Grown all over Jamaica. In fact, if you have no space to grow it, you can get a deep container and you can plant some beets in the small space you have. And you can have it right there. You have the leaves to steam, and then you have your taproot you can have with your potato and your sweet potato and your yam, and make a nice root vegetable as a part of your dish.
Someone here is asking, why does consuming beets cause a rash on the skin? Is it that you can actually be allergic? Are some people allergic to beetroot? Is that something that's possible?
Yes, some persons can be allergic to beetroot, and again, that is if they're allergic to other plants within the Amaranthaceae family. So if you are allergic, then you will have that type of reaction, and you need antihistamine type herbs to help with that. So in that case, you'd avoid it. Another contraindication is kidney stones or gout. If you have kidney stones or gout, you don't want to have beets too much or raw. Because beet has in oxalates. We've mentioned oxalates often. So these are natural compounds in a lot of our fresh and raw foods and fruits and vegetables, etc. How do we get rid of oxalates? By cooking our food. Once we apply some of the heat, it breaks down the oxalate structure, so it doesn't cause the kidney stones to get worse.
Is it good for anemia? Someone in the YouTube is asking whether it's good for anemia too.
It is excellent for anemia because it's rich in iron. And the betalains in it also helps to build the red blood cells. So it's a great addition to the diet.
And blood pressure?
Blood pressure, with blood pressure, it also helps because of the beta-xanthines that's in your beet. And it helps with producing the root. The taproot also has nitrates. Remember, it's a root, so it's pulling nitrates from the soil, similar to your peas. And those nitrates convert to nitric oxide in the body, and these nitric oxide help to widen our blood vessel, helps it to relax and lowers our blood pressure. similar to some of the drugs on the market, and it's naturally in our food.
Yes. Remember to call us, listeners, and YouTubers. Put your questions in the chat. Yes, you can find us on Nationwide 90 FM Live. And you can call us at 876-63093-7124 or 618-8255 for Dr. Denise Daly. We're going to take a break and come back with our first caller for the evening.
I make me mix up the roots with Medina. Come off a tour and me knee feel weak. So me go a up road and go
Enough power tool, big to small. Jack on my figure, dig the wall.
Our Total Tools.
Beat back a figure, trim the lawn. We have everything a job demand.
Total Tools.
We rent them, sell them and fix them. Also give Total Tools a call. When I say home improvement, landscape construction, a Total Tools are your option. Home improvement, landscape construction, Total Tools are your option.
Total Tools, located at 102 Main Street, Ocho Rios, 34 Slipe Road, Kingston. And lot C6 Jacksaw, Sentence Bay. Call us today.
You ever get bun yet? The bun was sweet you so much you can't resist. Me not talk about heartbreak. Me not talk about the bun with full of spice, raisin, and the perfect glaze. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. This is the bun where everybody need this Easter. If you don't get bun, you not live life right. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. Get the best type of bun from the right people. Mother's Bakery Easter bun. The bun you have to get with love in every bite. Available in select supermarkets.
Good God have mercy. Hey, good God have
19 minutes after 7, we're inside Nature's Remedies with Dr. Denise Daly. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm not used to having to say that, man.
Well, say it.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Well, our first caller of the evening is Ludlow. Good evening, Ludlow.
Hi, good evening. How are you doing, Mr. Hughes?
We're good.
Mr. Stewart, Mahiri?
Hi.
Yes.
Doctor, good evening. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
My question, you said some good things about B12, beetroot. But does it compare to like other dark green leafy vegetables? In terms of dilating the blood vessels and all of that, and it has oxalates. All of those have oxalates. Do you agree?
Yes.
Like
So oxalates are in your dark green.
All right. That's
similar to
right.
Go ahead.
And how do you compare B12 and beetroot? Do you still need B12 as if you're on beetroot? B12 is a supplement that helps your blood and everything, and let's call it cobalamin.
Cobalamin. Yes.
Right.
It depends on how you prepare your beetroot, right? Okay. So that's how you preserve your water soluble. So if you're roasting it, you will get some, but it's also heat sensitive. If you drink it raw, you get even more, and adding it to your meal, whether it's the leaf or the root, you get some B12. So if you're adding different sources of food, then you don't need a supplement. But then if you are not absorbing it enough, you may need a supplement. So it depends. If you just add it to your meals every now and then, and it is a source of your food.
All right. So one more thing before I go. Is some people are of the opinion that like beetroot, like carrot, are hybrid. Is that true?
Beetroot, carrot, and hybrid?
Like carrots, they're hybrid.
Hybrid foods?
Yeah. Meaning that the genetical structure is different because people went into a lab and created beetroot from another source.
No. Beetroot is a plant in itself. So it's Beta vulgaris. It's total different family, and it grows naturally. Now you have different varieties, and you can genetically modify it to make it grow faster, to make it grow bigger, and there are different sub varieties. But carrots is totally different. Carrot is a long taproot, and beetroot tend to be a stouter, fatter, round taproot.
I know. I've seen both plants. Yes.
Yeah. So,
all right, that's what I want. I have many other questions, but I'll settle that.
Thank you, Ludlow. William, at 21 minutes after 7, we're talking about the Beetroot Boost, with Dr. Denise Daly. William, good evening.
Good evening, Cliff. Evening, Mayor. Evening, Doc.
Good evening, William.
Yeah, I want to go a little further with the beetroot. What about when you use it with the turmeric and the ginger?
Yes, I have it right here too. Beetroot, turmeric, ginger, and always add your black pepper. That's an inflammation drink right there, or tea, or soup. So combining those together helps with inflammation and pain. So let's say you do an exercise and you feel all the tension and the cramps and the after effects, especially if you're not working out on a regular basis. Having that drink right after will help to relax the muscles and help with the pain and inflammation.
And I heard you speak about that the beetroot very good for building your blood count.
Yes.
That is also?
Yes, that is so. You can have it as a tea, you can make it into a smoothie, or even better, you can make a soup. So similar to how you cut up your carrots and add to your soup, you can cut your beetroot and add it to your soup. So that way you're getting all the nutrients in it. And the iron, the potassium, the magnesium, all those vitamins, plus the betalins, the compounds that are medicinal, will be a part of your meal. And that helps to build your blood count. So 2 to 3 times a week, just give your body time to rest. Remember, beetroot, when you have it in excess, you see it in your urine, you see it in your stool. Don't be alarmed. Just know that you need to now give it a break and not consume as much.
Yes.
Because when me using it, me hardly blend it and me grate it. And when the little piece leave, me just eat that.
Yeah, man.
No problem.
That's good. Can have raw.
And one more thing before I go, Doc. What you think about when you blend, like your celery, your callaloo, and merengue, when you blend those three together, you feel it's a good blend for helping your blood count, your body, your general overall.
This is a cleansing blend and it's good for the liver. So celery is good for the liver. The callaloo as well also helps with liver detoxing. Plus, the nutrients that callaloo give. And moringa is a multi-nutrient. So that mix is good. You can add a little lime to help boost the digestive system as it goes down as well.
Like a little lime juice.
A little lime juice, yes. Squeeze it in, or you can blend a little piece of the lime with it. And that helps with liver detox and a kidney flush as well. And the stalks of the beetroot, it's similar to the celery stalk. So you can just boil it and use that water to help blend it up.
Okay. Yeah, somebody was saying to Cliff put into the sugar with the beetroot. But I was thinking that the sugar from the beetroot is something similar like the sweet potato sugar. Right? Yes. It's a very good sugar. It not really damage you, especially when you know how to deal with it.
Yes.
Because the sugar from sweet potato, it is one of the best sugar.
Yes. It's a natural sugar. Your body metabolizes it fast and they're low glycemic. Some sweet potato might be medium glycemic, but they're still healthier option to have with meals.
Thank you, William. Doc, you mentioned callaloo. What are the nutrients you get from callaloo?
Callaloo is rich in fiber and the iron and potassium. And you have the minerals, just trace minerals that we need, your manganese, your folate, and so forth. So it's one of those food that you can have as a mineral vitamin boost by having it weekly at least. So that's why it's good. As Jamaican tradition, we usually have it at least Sunday morning breakfast.
Yes, that's me.
Yes.
All right, who do we have? Richie for Dr. Daly. Good evening.
And for you too, Cliff. And I have a very warm welcome to Mr. Mahiri, because what's the name? Mahiri, because he's a young boy to this, good evening, Doc.
Good evening.
I know you're a real teacher, but Cliff, you mentioned you asked about the callaloo. Talk about iron. Callaloo contains the most iron from all the vegetables and food that you can eat. Yeah, man, the most iron.
I love it. Doc, I love it, Richie.
I remember telling my to me the red color I never wanted.
The pink, which one? The red one?
The red,
yes,
the red star.
Purple one. We never have that yet.
The texture is very nice.
Oh, me stick to the one me know.
Me know, man. But if you get the way that started, you know what I want. Where you love, you know.
Oh.
But anyway, Doc. I mean, it's strange for people to talk about the beetroot leaf. I don't know if you know. I don't remember which country though. Is the pumpkin leaf people eat, you know?
Yeah.
They don't eat the pumpkin.
Yes.
Yes, man. But for me, the avocado pear, I eat the seed.
What?
I don't know the pear seed.
Yes.
You're
I don't know what I get from it. But one thing I know that I get something from because it is bitter. It is not nice as a pear.
So why do you eat it? Why do you eat it? Why do you eat it?
Why do I eat it?
Yeah.
I know the value of pear, and I said there's something, must be something good for the seed. Because, for example, you see the mango, the mango leaf, people use it for diabetes, you know.
Yes, I drink that now. Yes, the mango leaf, yeah.
You drink a mango leaf, but you didn't know that.
Yes, I was told.
You know.
Yes, Doc told me.
Well, I mean, according to this, it says that avocado seeds, you have to like dry them out, chop them, and blend them before you can actually eat them. But it says here that it's a source of carbs, fatty acids, minerals, protein, vitamins.
Oh,
so might be onto something.
Never hear some people eat pear seeded.
You don't know. Because I tested, I eat it. And I didn't know it as a matter of until now I'm not sure what I get from it, but I know I get some because the texture of it is not nice. It is bitterish. But I
Doc, you're trying to hold on, Richard.
Yes, I was just trying to add. The pear seed, it's edible, but it's one of those foods or seeds that you cannot have too much of. So if you remember, we spoke about the apricot seed and some other seeds. They have toxins in them when they're eaten raw. And if you have too much over time, it can damage. So as Mahiri just said, when you dry it or if you boil it, those help to reduce the amygdalin content and any variations of that compound. So as you say, you just take a little bit, that bitter taste, that's the bitter principle that's in it. Too much of that can be harmful. So you don't have to have too much of this. Yeah. So you should.
Because even herbs, if you're using herbs, must not be used green, you know. You dry it.
Fresh.
And that time it is very potent. If you use it green, it's not the best way to use it. So green, dry it.
Yes, but when it's green, you need more.
But the taste of it, it would take a person who is very greedy to eat a lot of it because it doesn't taste good. But I just try everything.
Yeah, a little bit is fine. You get the taste and understanding of the seed and plant. Yeah.
All right. Before we go to the next caller, I'm reading here.
Go to the
we have a break. All right, let's go.
So me go a walk road and go link fever. What good for your nerves? So what's up and sapata? Coconut water fi wash off your heart. Hey, nobody could have said Rasta.
Apply for your Sagicor Bank Preferred Prepaid MasterCard today. Load your remittances for everyday spending. Receive cash transfers from any local bank. The time by Sagicor Bank is
7:31.
And everybody let me hear ya. Me have to ask, why eat other snacks when sunshine has the best for you? Nature's best buns are crunchy. The flavor that sings to you, salted banana and plantain. Taste the freshness, naturally sweet. The flavor that sings to you.
Ayo, nature's best bunch.
Spirulina we blending, so you know I'll be spending every dollar out of me billfold. A buckle of the green and it make me clean, so me skill like Alan still cold.
And we are back with Nature's Remedies right here on Nationwide 90 FM with the one, the only Dr. Denise Daly. But before we get into the next caller, Dr. Daly, I see here that you have a workshop going on. Is there anything about that you want to tell us?
Yes, so natural health and wellness workshop, they're coming on this spring. Starting April, we'll have a workshop looking at weight loss and how can we naturally help to control our weight. We're not talking about quick fixes, but building a new routine, incorporating herbal teas and medicinal plants as a part of your regular routine, and understanding what's causing that weight gain and how can we then navigate to help to reduce our weights. So that's the first workshop in April. Then in May, we'll look at women's health. Again, we're looking at navigating menopause. It's a time period where hormones are at different levels. It varies from woman to woman, but yet we're going through it. How can we navigate, identify symptoms quickly so we can prevent depression and anxiety and other side effects? Because it's there, it's happening, but how can we navigate? We also have under that umbrella the fertility, fibroids. We'll be looking at PCOS. Again, natural alternatives and complementary remedies for women's health. Men, we're not being left out. We'll have the workshop right after in June, looking at erectile dysfunction, sleep, stress, and increasing stamina. How can we do that naturally? And all these workshops will be virtual. So once you have access to a phone, to a computer, we can have these discussions weekly. Just 3 weeks, just an hour, and the opportunity for question and answer. Well.
All right, and for those who are watching on YouTube, we have the graphic here. We have the email. You send an email to drdenisedaily@gmail.com to register for the Natural Wellness Workshop. Do we have another caller? Anthony, welcome.
Good evening. Good evening, both of you. Mr. Julian, good evening to Doc.
Good evening, sir.
Evening.
Yes. Doc, what I want to find out, callaloo and beetroot, what harm it is for someone who suffers from hypertension? Somebody told me that I must keep away from callaloo and beetroot.
But callaloo and beetroot has the oxalate and it also has a lot of nitrates. So with hypertension, it actually helps to relax the blood vessels. However, if you're on your medication for hypertension, you want to ensure that you keep them separate. So if you're having a callaloo breakfast or dinner or whichever one, and you have your medication to take, you have to make sure it's 1 to 2 hours apart. Because of those nitrate content, it will cause a wider effect or more activity in lowering your blood pressure. Yeah.
So you can eat your callaloo regular because I love callaloo, doctor.
You can eat it, but not with your medication.
Oh, but take it about an hour.
Yes. Away. All right. Yes, away from your medication.
Likewise the beetroot.
Likewise the beetroot, yes.
Okay, thank you for that.
So what you're saying, Doc, this is new to me. Yes, if you're hypertensive and you're on your blood pressure meds, your tablets, if you're going to have your callaloo meal, keep them 2 hours apart. Have them 2 hours apart?
Yes, because it has the callaloo, the beetroot, beetroot have a lot more of your nitrates. Callaloo, we're eating the leaves. So it's not as much that you'll have because it's not the root. The nitrates are normally in your root vegetables. But having it apart, if you're on blood pressure medication, especially the beetroot, that makes it more effective. At one, the beets lowering your blood pressure, and then your medication can work. It's a similar effect we usually see with garlic and blood pressure. Ensure that we have them apart. So the blood pressure medication gets to work, and your food gets to also work to build your blood vessels.
Interesting. Yeah. Thank you for that. Caller?
Yeah.
Alric is on the line for Dr. Daly at 24 minutes going up to 8 o'clock.
Good evening, Doc.
Good evening, Alric. How are you?
Good evening, Myra.
Evening.
Good evening, Grandpa.
Good evening, Alric.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Doc.
Yes.
Beetroot, turmeric, ginger, you blend them, you said, right?
Yes.
What's the best time to take it? In the morning, before breakfast, or in the night when you're going to bed?
Either one is a good time, right? And let's say you had a very active day, you're very tired, then it would be good to have in the night. So that again comes back to the point about beet helping to relax the body, boost the system after physical activity and exertion. So having it at night, it allows the body to rebuild and help with the rejuvenation while you sleep. It's cleaning and restoring your normal functions. If you have it the first thing in the morning, make sure because you're having the turmeric as well. So for some persons, turmeric can be really strong because you're adding your black pepper to it. Make sure you have it around a meal. So in the morning, if you drink it, you have breakfast right away or something that has carbs as well. So it helps it to slowly go into the system and it's not too harsh on the stomach first thing in the morning. So it depends on how you have it.
You must have been reading my mind because I am not a breakfast person per se.
Okay.
So that's why I asked you because I will maybe not eat until 10 or so, but I love to have the turmeric. I love to have something to drink. So the black pepper, you had the black pepper to that when you're blending it?
Yes, add the black pepper to it. You can also make it as a tea, and that way it's a little more soothing on the stomach as well as it goes down. If you boil them as a tea and drink it.
So what would you recommend from me? The night is best then because you put a little pressure working in the day.
Yeah, so you can have it at night. Yes.
After your dinner.
After your dinner, yes.
All right, that you have solved a problem. You were reading my mind because in the morning I hardly want to eat that early. So I drink something else then and do is 3 times a week good enough?
3 times is it's a good spacing to have the beetroots.
All right then, thanks. Have a good evening, guys.
Okay.
All right,
good.
Thank you.
Before we go to the next caller, Dr. I'm having somebody ask about chicken pox spots, and it might be a bit off topic. I don't know if beetroots would help with this, but someone says they're having problems with chicken pox spots and what they should put on it, and they're asking if they should use the calamine lotion if the spots are starting to clear up. What do you recommend for that issue?
For chicken spot, the calamine is very good. It's strong. It helps to dry it out quickly. It's antifungal. For the chicken pox, neem, if you can make a neem paste, that will help because neem is very strong. Getting the leaf and getting the neem oil, crushing it out, rubbing it onto the skin, that will help to dry it up and also reduce skin irritation. If you have aloe, you can blend that all up to make a paste and apply it to the skin as well. Even if you have beetroot leaf, it's good for skin irritation and making poultice. Just crushing it out and applying it to the irritated spots. So those are some of the quick remedies that come to mind now. Neem, very strong.
Ooh. And I'm also seeing someone ask in the comments, Dr. Daly, I'm a novice to herbs and natural remedies. Are there any herbs that are not compatible? I have bought a bunch of teas and I always have fresh veggies. Can any react with another?
Yes, you have quite a few herbs that can react with each other, but they vary significantly, similar to how they would react with medications. So it depends, because you can also combine 10, 15, 20 herbs and make a roots drink or a tea blend. But for a tea blend, as a novice, I would say 4 to 5 of the tea bags are safe enough, because oftentimes your tea bags are herbs that have been tested and proven to be safe for consumption, even if you have 2 or 3 of those tea bags at one time.
Right. All right. Noted.
All right. We're going to take a break and come back with more of your calls for Dr. Denise Daly.
Perlina, I make me mix up the roots with Medina. Come off a tour and me knee feel weak, so me go a walk road and go link fever.
The national budget is everybody's business because it impacts every Jamaican. The time brought to you by the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service is
7:42.
Dancehall week, can't miss me. February 23 to March 2, 1 full week of dancehall activities.
New style. Style.
Cliff Hughes online I got there at the Ronnie Williams Entertainment Center on February 26 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the official Dancehall Village to help celebrate dancehall. Holla back on me and come celebrate the dancehall culture at the Cannabis Village. Seminar and workshop I got there. Food and shopping village and the official opening of the Dancehall Museum. This you wanna hold? Catch me side at Cliff Hughes online. Me a dance and I go with a bag of things. Them I go have dance workshop and boot camps and guess what? It's free all week. Go down and don't forget the dancehall fashion frenzy on Friday and the dancehall street parade plus the big bad corrosive after party on Sunday. Me after that. It can't miss me, and if you miss it, that rough. But don't worry, Cliff Hughes online I got there for make you know the pre. You see, February 26, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. only on Nationwide 90 FM. Oh, we are the revolution in media.
Dancehall and me everything.
Good God have mercy, hey. Good God have grace, hey. Lord have mercy, hey.
We are back. It's Nature's Remedies right here on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm your host, Mahiri Stewart.
And I'm Cliff.
Hey, oh, there we go. We're getting the hang of it now, and we're here with Dr. Denise Daly. Now, Dr. Denise Daly, we spoke earlier about the workshop that you're having, but I also understand that there's going to be an in-person workshop this July. Tell us about that.
3 days.
Yes, we are looking to have a in-person workshop. Getting in tune with nature, going out in nature, identifying plants, and also making different products using these plants that we'll find. So foraging for food and for medicine, and how do we use it safely? Yes?
Mm-hmm. Right, and I'm seeing also herbal skincare is going to be a topic of discussion.
Always, because it's so convenient. Sometimes when you're in the bush, you get insect bites. What herb would you grab and help to reduce inflammation and redness and the itching? Right. So these are some of the things we look at, and how to make your own skincare remedies at home. Poultices, like crushing them, applying it to the skin, removing them, washing up with warm water. So all of these remedies passed down by grandparents, we'll be bringing them back to the forefront, so we can now pass it on to the next generation.
I'd love to hear. I didn't know that the leaf thing, you rub it when you have I didn't know that was a thing until I was in like prep school. I got stung by a wasp, and my PE teacher literally just took some leaves and was like, all right, started rubbing on it.
And it worked.
It did.
The first 3 leaf around where the bees sting you or the wasp sting you, grab those leaves, crush it, and rub it onto the skin. Reduces the swelling and the redness and the itching.
Oh, all right. Well, we have a couple questions still in the YouTube chat. Doctor, another question. Can you please recommend herbs or foods for eczema?
Eczema is so wide because there's different things that cause the irritation. Internally, you want to include a lot of sour, right? So if you're not having sour juice on a daily basis, you need to include that. So whether it's lime water, lemon water, and think of some of your fruits, like your apple, if you juice them, some sour fruits. You want to have some sour every day because that helps to stimulate the liver. And the eczema is oftentimes it's like an allergic reaction, right? So you can try to help reduce that inflammation by getting the liver to be a little more active, adding little bitters into your meals or throughout your week. We have multivitamins every day. Have a bitters once a week. Bitters are normally drop amounts because they're extremely bitter. This again stimulates activity of the liver and detoxifying. Externally, you want soothing oils as natural as possible. Get your shea butter. We have a product that helps with eczema. Use it on babies, my son, other babies. We have the turmeric flaxseed soap. That soap, because of the bioactive and the shea and the neem, the different oil combination, it helps to soothe the skin by bathing, and then we apply the Nasari herbal oil blend. Really soothing, and it really helps with psoriasis, itching, whether it's your hair or the skin. We have that available to help with it, with eczema.
Going back to the comment about the wasp, that stung Mahiri in prep school. Someone on YouTube just point out, just don't grab a coach.
Yes. In fact, don't grab the coach unless you grab it fast. If you grab it fast, it won't sting.
Oh?
Yeah, I have bad experiences with coach.
Yeah.
It wasn't
coach,
good.
If it's still on the vine, if it's still on the tree, it will itch terribly. Similar to stinging nettle. So some of these plants, it's their defense mechanism. But if you cut them with a scissors, it becomes medicinal because it didn't get enough time to release those toxins.
Oh. Wow.
The more you know.
And that's why you have so many stinging nettle teas and hair products, because it's so medicinal. But if you touch it, it's defending itself from you.
Oh, that's why it itches.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said, I'll die another day.
I have someone in the chat asking, can beets react negatively with the daily vitamins and iron supplements?
It won't react negatively, but you'll just have extra. So if you're taking supplements that have the same components as beets, you will be passing out some of those supplement ingredients, the minerals and the vitamins, the water solubles. Because beets is a source of these vitamins and minerals, and your supplement has it. Your body does not store your water soluble vitamins. So once you have enough, the rest is peed out or you urinate it out. And that's why you want to ensure that you try to get as much from your food so you won't be wasting money and peeing it down the toilet.
Right. And it's funny you say that, because when I'm looking at this list of facts about beets, and some people are saying that it actually, consuming beets actually makes pee redder.
Yes, it
does. Is that something that people should expect if they consume beets in abundance?
Yes. It does make your urine redder. Or if you have it too much, some persons don't metabolize it as fast, so you will have a reddish or darker urine. But you can consume it, just be moderate. Again, if you see it start coming out red, you give beets a break.
What about the impact on your teeth? Does it stain your teeth?
The teeth should not be stained by anything that we eat. So if it begins to stain the teeth, then we want to look at...
Or you're not brushing well.
That could be the case. It may be throughout the day. We can also have activated charcoal to help remove any buildup that's on it. But the teeth is designed, the enamel, it usually does not retain stains. And I usually use that with the kids having the candy. I'm like, I'm seeing the color of the candy. Go brush your teeth, have some protein, and so on. Help to reduce the sugar rush if they're having the candy. Yeah.
Right. I'm also seeing, when I was on the list about facts with beets, I realized that they are a huge source of water. It would tell me that 88% water. So it helps with hydration, I guess.
That's why it's an athlete's best friend, because of the hydration, the minerals. It's like a natural electrolyte that you can have. In fact, you can get the beets, put it in a juicer, and you can have, depending on how many, a natural juice. In fact, that's one of my favorite ways to have beets, separate from having my signature mashed potato and beets, which gives it a nice pink color to get the kids.
Doc,
beets.
There's an unusual question here from Shane Mark, and I'm going to read his question verbatim. Doc, I want more inches. What can I drink for that?
More, I would say you need to sign up for the men's health workshop.
You notice I read it with all neutrality. I did not comment. I did not. Yes.
Sign up for the men's health workshop. We're going to look at how can you enhance length naturally. And just keep in mind, it's a muscle. So the more you work and invest in muscle health, you will have growth, so to speak. Within the context of DNA, of course.
Yes. So what's the advice again to Shane? He needs help.
Sign up for the Natural Health Workshop for Men. Send an email to drdenisedaily@gmail.com. You can also start looking at increasing your cardiovascular health. So get some Cheney root, sarsaparilla, and have some of those teas. And then we'll go into a full detail of how you can naturally enhance growth.
Okay, Shane? Dr. Daly has given you her medicine, her remedy for you.
Nice. Yeah. Oh, Dr. Daly, can you talk to me about wine? I'm seeing here they say you can ferment beets into that.
Yes. Wine. Beets wine is a commodity as well. You can enhance. If you think of sorrel, it has that look, and then you add your yeast, etc. You can get it fermented because it has natural sugars as well. So it's a good source of making wine. And of course, you can add your different fruits to give it different flavors. So if you're interested in doing fermentation, beets is a good source. You can also extract sugar from beets. So that's another sugar source. So it's similar to cane sugar, you can have beet sugar.
Oh, nice. And I'm seeing it helps
use that to make teas.
Breath as well.
Cake, similar to carrot cake. Have you ever tried beetroot cake?
Oh.
No.
There you go. That's nature's natural red velvet.
Oh, that's the red velvet?
No, it's not.
Oh.
Red velvet is made differently.
It's the equivalent. It's the equivalent to red velvet.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, beetroot cake. You can also cook your beets, slice them thin like tomatoes, and cook them and add them to your sandwiches.
Here's another question, this time from Jackie Thomas. Jacqueline is asking, Doctor, what about the tongue with turmeric? What about that? What about the tongue there, Jackie?
The tongue can be colored because the white area on the tongue, that can get discolored.
Yeah.
But it can be easily removed with brushing.
Yeah.
Brush,
and you have to spend time. Many people don't pay attention to brushing and cleaning their tongue, Yeah.
And it's a source.
It should be cleaned every time you brush.
Yeah, it should.
Yeah.
And for countertops and clothes, you can always add some lime juice to get rid of the turmeric from the staining. That should help.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I see several offers to help Shane Mark. Be careful, Shane. Yeah?
Check those
I see someone offering to send him an extension from Amazon. Don't make them thief your money, Shane. Yeah, not no work. So, all right. Doc, thank you so much. Yes, and give us your email address again for signing up and to get ready for your workshops.
Yes, so it's drdenisedaily@gmail.com. That is DRDENISEDALEY@gmail.com. You can also send a message on Instagram and Facebook at Dr. Denise Daily.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Doc. And Popper, I'm not going to read what you said to Jackie Popper. Yeah? You're only too bad on YouTube. Yeah? Anyway, Doc, take care of yourself.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thanks to all of our callers or YouTubers. They're all on here. Papa, Jackie, Ashana's journey. Yeah. Asana wants to know what helps with eczema on the hair scalp. You'll have to go call us back when next we are doing Nature's Remedies Ashana. Thank you so much to all of you, Kurt Buchanan, Colleen, Sandra, Shane Mark needs... Glory gives Shane Mark some more advice. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, Oren, Paul Peart, Mikhail, all of you. Have a good night. And also thanks to all of our callers. Thanks to our producer, Dana Davey, our technical operator, Andrew Anderson. To the members of the news and production team this evening, today led by Kimon Thompson. I'm Cliff Hughes.
And I'm Mahiri Stewart.
Reminding you, take care of your loved one and look out for your neighbor. Good night.
Nationwide 90 FM wants to help you find your home sweet